We're men, and we're not afraid to say that we love other men.
What up, G?
My life is nothing I thought it should be and everything I was worried it would become, because for 50 seconds I thought there was monsters on the world.
What Augean stable of misery do you live in if you fantasize about driving a bus or sitting on a bench? What's next, a breakfast eating simulator? Oh, careful not to burn your digital toast. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go play an office simulator. Oh, no wait, that's my job.
Whoa, I think I just figured something out, Beavis. What? This sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
Don't say no for an answer. There's no
Can I see more white women getting clotheslined, please?
People don't understand. People don't understand. People like me. 'Cause these eyes can see right through you. Don't be surprised.
So Snoop Dogg wins the match because Shane McMahon blew his knee out.
Damn, that was bad, bro.
People don't understand. People don't understand. No, people don't understand. People don't understand. No, people don't understand. People don't understand. People like me.
Hey, we're back. I'm using my old camera. How you guys doing? CJ, quiet, silence, woman. I'm talking. Hello, everyone. We're here for episode 88 of the Ballroom Podcast, and I'm joined here with my lovely group of friends. Question mark, quotation marks. Here on the show once again, we got our good buddy Orange Hat joining us once again. How you doing, there, Orange?
Doing well.
And now over this one, yeah, right, the first time, Mr. Rob Motto. How you doing, there, Rob?
I'm doing good. I had a job interview today.
No boy. Well, we wish you the best. I'll just put it that way.
Did you get hired or fired?
And then somewhere, no, lower, get right, no, down. There we go, Mr. Eddie Brock. He's right there where I'm pointing at. How you doing, there, Eddie?
I am not just lovely; I'm also adorable and cute. So, just saying. I bring a lot to this show.
I like how Rob immediately started shaking his head. Just player hater of the year over here. But also joining us here is our good buddy CJ. How you doing today, CJ?
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Hello. I got the most. Yeah, they were talking to you, CJ.
What?
How are you feeling?
Good. No, I made my family eat Brussels sprouts for dinner, and then I started my spring cleaning a little early this year. So.
I mean, we're only about a week away, so it's not that early, but I understand what you're saying. So,
are you throwing away a TV? I've been noticing.
Yes, actually, I am.
A lot of people are throwing away TVs lately. I don't know why.
So it's got a little bit of a cracked screen, and it would be like $70 to replace it, but I don't need it and I don't use it, so I was just gonna give it away or get rid of it.
Government's watching you through your TV, man.
This may be a foreign concept to anyone who's like younger than us listening to this show here, but remember when like HD TVs like first came out like 20 years ago, and like for opening HD TV was like $5,000 and no one could afford it, and it's like like HD TV said like, oh, that's a pipe dream,
right? That's what scares me about this. Like I just see them lined up in every thrift store I go to, just like a pound on top of each other.
Yep. And then now you can go to a thrift store and get like a 50-inch TV for like $10. It's absolutely nothing now. So
see, I honestly just don't watch TV very often. So, and we actually have a DVD player TV that the kids and my husband and I will sit down and watch. So we're old school.
That screams not 2005.
Old school. That's fucking ancient.
No, you want to talk about ancient? I used to have a VHS DVD combo player back in the day. I think you can still get one in like thrift stores today if you really, really wanted to. Oh, there's your face.
Fucking ancient. I have a freaking TV in this house that's up in storage area right now. That's one of those ones that you had to get up and turn the fucking knob.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you want to go ancient here? You hold down the show for a second. I'll be back in just 1 minute. I'll show you freaking ancient.
Okay, because like the first time I saw a DVD on a good HD TV, it probably was like 2009 or something, and it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I was like, holy shit. Because I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get because DVD other than that was like, oh hey, like let me throw in Fellowship of the Ring on my PS2. Like that was like the extent of the DVD for me. You just hey, that's a really cool feature on my PlayStation. And then actually seeing it in its full capability was pretty awesome.
I have a bunch of TVs, but I specifically for my media room, I specifically have a 65. It's 65 or 70 inch, like one of those rear ender TVs, the ones with the giant
rear projection
TVs, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And it looks like I'm watching a film. It looks like I'm watching a film right in front of me, a movie screen right in front of me. It's beautiful. And it still does CRT too, so I can still play video games, like ancient video games, and still make them look like they originally supposed to and everything.
So what I have right here, and I want to show this to you just so I verify that I actually have this. This is a VHS tape. Not only is this a VHS tape, as you can see, it's still in mint condition. This is Game 5 of the 1991 NBA Finals of the Lakers and the Bulls, where Michael Jordan won his very first NBA championship, and I still have it on VHS to this day. I don't have a player for it, but I still have the VHS tape, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So
now this VHS I love this trick because if you bought one of those tapes, it's like like eight hours of recording.
Yep.
If you said it right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's gonna be 2 hours to complete.
I think
XP mode.
Yep. I think I tried taping Monday Night Football and it only got 2 hours. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you forgot to put it on the correct setting.
Did they win?
I did that once. It was like the 2003 VMAs. I recorded it, but I recorded it on the wrong setting. So instead of going the full 6 hours, it was the 2 hour. So I got about 2 hours into the show and then immediately cut off. And I didn't see the last hour of that show. I'm not even joking. Till 10 years later, that's when I ended up seeing the final hour of the show.
I grew up when everybody was making jokes about like, you can't set a VCR correctly, it's so difficult to do it. My grandmother figured it out because every other like 3 months or so on cable, they give you HBO for free for like a week, right?
Yep.
Or Showtime or whatever. And that's when my grandmother became MacGyver and Inspector Gadget on this thing, because she would expend every tape to record the entire week's worth of HBO or whatever. So she made sure she had movies the entire year, or at least until the next showing.
Oh yeah,
buddy, how you doing?
This is the civilization that we said goodbye to after 9/11. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Osama.
Well, let's go ahead and introduce.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and introduce our guys who are in the chat waiting for us right now. I know Kirk is going to be joining us over on Rumble. We're on Rumble, Twitter, and on YouTube tonight. Spencer's the first one joining us, saying, "Boo, we want Spencer." Spencer is the only guest we like. Yeah, sure, whatever. We only want to hear from him talking about. Yeah, no one wants to hear you simp about Nikki from She-Hulk for 2 hours. Nobody wants to see that. But It was the what was her name? She-Hulk side chick in that whole Disney Plus series that was awful that came out a couple of years ago. It was so bad she was literally on another show by the time the final episode actually debuted. That's how much.
Was she the one that was like drunk the entire time, and she always wanted to go drinking?
You got to narrow it down a little bit closer than that. I mean, everyone was drunk and drinking the
Everybody
entire
was
time.
drinking. I'm not
talking about the writers.
I got liver disease from watching that show.
Mm-hmm. Dante joining us here tonight as well. Our good buddy Neozoic saying, hey everybody, fun question. Which adaptation of the Alan Moore comic book would you rather watch, V for Vendetta or Watchmen? I want to say something that may be a little bit controversial here. I have not actually seen V for Vendetta to its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but not the entire thing.
Get the fuck off the stream and go watch that movie.
No.
I'd rather watch Watchmen. So
yeah, I would agree with that. Rob, what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think it's that controversial. Watchmen is a much better movie. It has a lot more depth to it. V for Vendetta, as much as I like the movie adaptation, it really takes a detour from the graphic novel in a way that Watchmen really doesn't. I mean, to some degree it does, but it's just a different thing. And it works as a Hollywood adaptation, but there again, there's just some things that kind of it stands on its own as its own thing, and it's just a little bit more simplistic than Watchmen. And I'm a little biased because Watchmen is probably my favorite comic book graphic novel movie. So yeah, I'd go with Watchmen.
Eddie, what about you?
I kind of like V for Vendetta, but that was when I was younger. I haven't really watched it recently. And with Watchmen, I wasn't really that much of a fan of the comic either way. If I was going to go with an Alan Moore comic movie adaptation, I'd probably go with From Hell. I think that was a much better.
Didn't Alan Moore like only approve like one Batman, like the Justice League episode? I would watch that.
Yeah, Alan Moore has done it's like what's his name? Frank Miller. You never noticed that Frank Miller did RoboCop 2, you know?
No, you don't remember that he did because your brain blocked it out. Bonus question here. It says, what has with better performance, Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta or Jackie Haley in Rorschach in Watchmen? Which one do you guys think was better? I obviously would go in Watchmen here for the obvious reason I just mentioned, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I actually thought Haley should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Now, it wouldn't have mattered because I think that year it was 2009. And I'm pretty sure that was Hans. Yeah, it was Inglourious Bastards, and nobody was going to beat Christoph Waltz for that performance as Hans Landa, but he was so good. I thought that Jackie Earle Haley, and that was a comeback. He was a kid actor in like the Bad News Bears. He was in a few things throughout his career, but that was kind of his, like, he got 4 or 5 years of work because of that role. So yeah, I'd go with Rorschach.
Hugo Weaving was just running on meme energy that time, right? I mean, he was the Elf King, and then he
Agent
was Mr. Anderson. This dude was just running on
Mr. Anderson.
I'd have to give it to Hugo Weaving. Just the meme energy was so strong with him. Although I do as a character, I like Rorschach probably more than V.
I like V for Vendetta better than Watchmen. I know I'm the odd one out here. But I will say, out of those two, or in this question, Jackie Earle Haley played the fuck out of Rorschach, man. I mean, I absolutely love it when he was in the jail. He's like, what's it going to take to convince you people? I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. And they're just fucking beating on him while he's saying that, and he doesn't even feel it.
Yeah, he's the most interesting character in the entire movie. Just as a concept. I mean, sadly, it was a deconstruction of the whole thing or whatever. I don't want to go back into that whole 2 weeks worth of Twitter wars that we just finished on.
What I find interesting about his character is that they set him up kind of like as if he was somehow a psychopath, but compared to all the other characters, he wasn't a psychopath at all. Like there was far worse people. Exactly.
He was the one that wasn't willing to compromise, because if you compromise, you sacrifice yourself.
Yep.
So it's like, you're going to have to fucking kill me because I'm not going to stop.
Well, I mean, even in death, he didn't really stop because it was his journal that got leaked out. So.
Yep.
Who else we got here tonight? Vanya is joining us here tonight, and pretty much agrees with our estimation there. So yeah. Doba Fett joining us here as well, saying "puddle of re." I actually love that part when he goes re, and you just like hear like his voice when he's singing like the Nirvana. Like you can't not laugh when you see that. I'm all right. I don't care how many times you watch it. I'm surprised you're not covering the Gemini AI situation, especially a huge controversy. We'll touch on it a little bit here in just a bit, but I mean, look, it's Google. Are you surprised that Google's doing something evil? I mean, honestly.
You know what? Honestly, this is my fault because I ran out of blackface.
Damn.
I got
Google took up all of it.
Yeah. I got
Have you seen
bar around here we can reuse.
By the way, have you seen that people are now finding like creative ways to trick the AI into posting pictures of white people?
Oh yeah. show a picture. Make a picture of someone of a man changing a smoke detector. This all a bunch of white people.
Well, I think even Andrew Tate posted a video. It's like, ask AI who enjoys to eat fried chicken, and you'll get nothing but white people in that picture. So
I love fried chicken. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves fried
Founding
chicken.
fathers eating watermelon. Somebody did that, and it's like all black people fucking eating watermelon.
If this makes us have the same bad eating habits as like the stereotypical black folks, I encourage more bacon eating. I encourage more fried chicken. I encourage more collard greens. It's great. Good stuff. Good food.
Yep. I would say here, when Barroom hits 88 episodes, you're going to see some serious shit. Doc Brown. Yep, there you go. I think
I'll bring the plutonium at that point. So
I think Spencer's marking out over CJ. That's what I think this whole nonsensical diatribe is. Yeah, I mean,
I'm allowed to have a fanboy. So.
Singular. Dante's here. Who else? Doba Fett saying that he spent $3,000 on a 55-inch television in 2001. Holy crap, dude! That did not hold up its value.
Top of the line Sony
the screen that I have is actually like a touch screen. I got it for when my kids were starting to like touch stuff, and they were like, it's like one of those big ones that you can like doodle on, like they have paint and stuff. It was really nice. But it got a big crack in it, and we don't use it anymore. So, and I bought it for $300 in the early 2020s, or no, the early 10s. There we go. So,
I really want to upgrade. I really want to upgrade my TV this year to like a top of the line OLED, but my TV, my 55-inch LED LCD Samsung is perfectly fine from 2019. So I feel a little guilty, like just dropping $3,000 for just like my TV is perfectly fine. It just doesn't
that's what it was. But that's what it was in 2001. You can go to Walmart right now and get a 55-inch television for like $200, and that's with inflation. So that's how much the value of the TVs have absolutely crashed in 20 years. So,
I like to point out a TV that size in 2001. You should probably open it up. There's probably gold pieces in there. They used to use gold to solder like things and put them together, diamonds and stuff like that. That's the reason why it was so much back then.
And then now people are gonna be like smashing their TV looking for like.
Dude, we have it. That's half the reason why people buy CRTs other than video gaming.
Break up our TV.
Mom, looking for gold. Smash.
Look it up. It's the real thing.
Kate joining us here says she loved the DVD video combo. Like I said, you can still find them. You gotta go to like Goodwill. That's the only place that on earth that still sells those things. But make sure you can find them if you look hard enough. So the TV with the VCR built in. But back, like I said, even like before like the HD TV days, like we forget about those giant like boob tube televisions, like those ones that you could not move that television from one side of the room to another. Like that would be you. That thing will stay there for like a year solid because nobody had the energy to like lift that thing up and like move it all the way across the room. So
none of those companies exist anymore either. RCA, Zenith, Philips,
Panasonic.
You know,
nobody's removing grandma's ashes from the top of the TV just to move it to the other side of the room.
Yep. Who else we got here? Tactus Jones saying that he still has his VHS DVD combo. It's Samsung, hasn't been used in over 10 years. Yeah, like I said, I just stopped using mine. It's like after a while. I do regret because I used to have like a big collection of VHS tapes. Like in 2005, I probably had like at least 36 tapes, but I moved, so I ended up getting rid of about like 30 of them and never recovered a lot of that stuff that's on there. But then again, I have a whole like digital collection now, so I recovered a lot of that stuff and then some. But it still would have helped having that the little piece of that history that no longer exists, unfortunately. So, yeah, Kate is
It
joining
does
us.
exist. It's just in the dump somewhere. So
Dante, keep in mind, Dante is in Chicago, by the way. Says everyone in Chicago was rioting over the Bulls back during that championship. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. I mean, it took them so many
real
years to
summer
actually get
flow,
there.
huh?
I said I have Game 6 of the 1998 finals on VHS. I said, who else we got here? Soul Assassin say Vendetta was good. It says got to watch Vendetta on November 5th like a real man. Yeah, exactly. Watchmen was too long, says Terminator Joe. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a long one. Good buddy
I
Iron.
think the last time I watched it, I watched the theatrical release. So it's just shorter.
Director's cut is like 3 hours, and then you have the extended cut, which is even longer than that. So
I've seen the full extended cut, or I think I own the full extended cut of The Watchmen.
Good buddy Iron.
That's way too much Snack Slider for me.
But they just cut to freaking comic strip thingies that they do. Yeah.
Ironside, our good buddy, joining us here on the show tonight as well. Who else do we got going on here? Dante says Frank Miller's comic adaptation of Rob Wilcox Hugh was way better. I think we can agree with that one, especially compared to the movie. Technically, Hugo Weaving played V only for a part of that movie. That's correct. Then it went on to play Freddy Krueger and Pissed Off Fits. Yes, exactly.
I honestly thought he was a good Freddy Krueger. It's the other shit that they changed about him that was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I mean, look, it's a cash grab one way or another. I mean, I don't think there was any really need to quote unquote reboot the Freddy Krueger, the Friday the 13th movies. I mean, if you're not going to get Robert, then it's like, what's the point? That's kind of like the whole point of the character. So,
well, they wanted a darker version, and they really did get one with Jackie Earl Haley. He was a fucking dark fucking Krueger.
Like, can we get Freddy Krueger with like a little less comedy? It's like, doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose? Like, shut up.
No, because the original, he wasn't being comedic.
Well, he was being more sadistic, I guess is probably a better word for it. In the way that he was getting those kills, which some could prefer as comedic in its sense, but like I said, yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, he was just murdering people. Let's be honest. Alex versus Evil's here saying, hey. Who else do we have here? Remember the 5th? That's the date of the election year. Well, we'll see if something pops off of that date, or if we can get to the election year. Although the Watchmen comic is partially to blame for the whole popularization of the deconstruction of superheroes or whatever answers you have. I wouldn't give Zack Snyder that much credit because you have to remember that film also came out before like the whole like MCU universe started like as well. So you say it's partially deconstruction, but at the same time, it's right after that. Yeah, exactly. Like right after that, we started like going all in on superheroes again. So yeah, I wouldn't go quite that far with that one.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the graphic novel. It started this, and I'm like, I don't know enough about comics or graphic novels to really comment there, but it was supposed to be a satire. It was supposed to be like, hey, what if superheroes really were in our world? And I mean, Rorschach especially, it's sort of like it sets him up like a sociopath. Like if Batman was real and literally was going around punching people's lights out, doing that year after year, you would turn kind of into a, you're cut off from the human race psychopath. Ultimately, he is the hero, which is the great irony of that whole story.
See, I thought the best character that's written on Watchmen was Ozymandias. I mean, like he's this suave person that you would just never assume was gonna screw the world over. Because he was, he's paranoid in like the right kind of ways, like certain philanthropists that fund things today.
Right. No, and I was going to say, how many connections does he have to either current politicians or people who claim to have the best interests of the world at heart, when in reality they're terrified of the human race, and so they'll bring about
trying to
terrible
exterminate
things.
the human race.
Well,
so that's
Ozymandias saw the quote unquote truth of and made the hard choice, as they said, killing millions to save billions. In order to unite the world, you had to sacrifice a greater amount. And as bad and as heinous and as evil of an act as that is, the end in this case justified the means.
No, it didn't.
No.
because it's immoral.
Now, I'm not saying
kill
that people
people.
should go out and kill millions of people.
You can't
but-
misgender Caitlyn Jenner to stop nuke from going.
Trust me, I thought the same thing when I was 20 when that movie came out. I thought Ozymandias was a genius, and then I read the graphic novel and I watched the movie a couple more times. It's like, oh boy.
But then again, I also agree with Rorschach. That shouldn't be done, no matter how.
Well, all I can
and
say is that
there was be done.
There was a guy in Germany once that thought by getting rid of millions of people that it would be better for the society of the world, and that's exactly it.
Except that there was no actual freaking positive outcome from that.
Yeah, but no, he thought it was. That was what I was saying. Like, in his mind, that it was.
Right.
It wasn't that it was.
Right.
It actually was.
Yeah.
That was just his justification.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know any.
you know
I wouldn't
what?
know any of this. I just read nothing but manga.
I read manga like a sane
Think
person.
about it in terms of Attack on Titan, then, okay?
Never saw Attack on Titan, so I wouldn't know.
Oh my god, Attack on Titan! You actually like Attack on Titan with the giant monsters and everything.
That
killing
related to
everything and-
Titan AE? Never mind. I'm sorry.
No.
I knew the answer. I just wanted to say it anyway.
On that note, we're going to talk about some sports ball here because our Rob's favorite actress in the entire world, Lily Gladstone, said something that was pretty dumb a few weeks back, and we didn't get to cover it because we ran out of time last week due to a certain group of individuals who were on our show last week who would really love to talk. But outside of that, let's go ahead and talk about this story. Apparently, Lily Gladstone had a problem with the Super Bowl because she thinks that both the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs were both problematic, especially that damn tomahawk chop. So Lily Gladstone, if you know, was in the film Carols of the Flower Moon. She has a legitimate shot. A lot of people are saying at actually winning Best Actress in the Academy Awards here in a few weeks. I think her only competition right now is Emma Stone, and some people feel like she's gained a lot of momentum here in the next couple of weeks. So she's if she's not number one, she's definitely number two at the moment. But she had something to say about the Super Bowl that took place a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. I know Eddie loves that Super Bowl because it was the Chiefs defeating the San Francisco 49ers, winning their third Super Bowl. Their third Super Bowl in 4 years, and this is what she had to say regarding this whole thing. It was a appearance at Santa Barbara International Film Festival, and she held essentially the conversation of the Super Bowl. Somebody had to just ask her, but she says that honestly, you can hold both teams accountable. Gladstone told Variety, the 49ers are based on the California Gold Rush, which was an incredibly brutal time for California Indians. So apparently, the 49ers is I guess it's offensive to Native Americans. It's the first time I ever heard that angle.
That's right. It is. It's incredibly offensive to Native Americans.
Mm-hmm. That's why we need to ban it. They need to change their name, just like the Cleveland Indians. But then she take their harshest criticism for the Chiefs. Shocker there. It says, and then the Chiefs. There are so many of you that can interpret it, that name Chief. It's not just a name that bothers me, but it's that damn tomahawk chop. Every time it's a stark reminder that Hollywood has done to us, because the tomahawk chop directly has ties to the sound of old Westerners when we were out playing ourselves, or if we were merely backdrop actors. And this is claiming that the sound and it is an honor. There's a modification of who we are as a people. It's a great to love the game and your players, but it still hurts as a Native American woman, she says there. So apparently she was not, she had the exact same feelings that I had about the Super Bowl. I didn't really care about either team, except for she has much of a different justification for why she doesn't like the Niners or the Chiefs here. So if she wins Best Actress here in a couple of weeks, she can make a proclamation that, hey, maybe you guys should change your name and honor all of the Native American people. Then we're gonna have the San Francisco football team versus the Kansas City football team for 3 years until we figure out what's more appropriate for them to play. I mean, this whole thing is an absolute clown show at this point. I mean, we've already lost the Redskins. We've already lost the Indians. They've tried to get the Braves to get rid of their tomahawk chop. The Braves have found a very entertaining way around that, and I'll show that to you guys here in just a bit. But I'll start off here with Rob. What do you think about Gladstone here going after San Francisco and Kansas City for being problematic to the Indian people?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess you're asked questions, and I don't know if they're planted by PR people, so you get to talk about certain issues, but this just feels like it was a planted question for the Native American actress who potentially win Best Actress Academy Award, first in the history of it or whatever, or second, depending on who you consider Native or whatever. Anyway, she's conflating two different things. She's conflating how the movies basically, exploited the Native Americans to tell cowboys and Indian stories, and the actual culture from, in the area that a team might embody. You know what I mean? So, and it's like, this happens all over the 49ers, the Cowboys. I mean, you have all sorts of examples, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, it's a fun way to embody the culture and the history of an area, and just to have fun with it and celebrate it in this competitive environment. Oh, big surprise. The artist doesn't understand a competitive environment. I'm not that shocked, but yeah, she has nothing she has no ground to stand on here. I don't even know why it's an issue with the San Francisco 49ers. It's like, yeah, a lot of bad things happened in the past. That's not all that happened in the past. Like this is my biggest problem with people who are liberals or claim to be liberal. It's like all they see is the negativity of history. They don't see any of the positive, the fact that we're here, the fact that we've survived collectively through time, through terrible shit that's happened, and we're better for it. Like, why do we never hear that? We never hear that point of view. And I get that that's not, like, it's not conflict oriented as much as
get 8 clicks.
Yeah, as much as like, oh, white people, you have, this sin that you're never going to be able to wash off your skin, kind of thing. And it's like, okay, who cares?
Like, didn't you guys have like literal like human sacrifice back during that time period?
Yeah,
too? It's like,
right.
What about all those people?
And look, I think Lily Gladstone gave the performance of the year in the category. I think she's great. I hope she wins. But a lot of her PR stuff has been insufferable, where it's just like, none of this makes me like you anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's annoying virtue signaling nonsense. And I get it. The Native Americans were largely kind of wiped out and kind of given a raw deal. I think that a lot of us could agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but like, what are we doing now to try to improve things? If that's your focus, you know what I mean?
I mean, the only reason I would root for Lily Gladstone at this point, just to see like Emma Stone's pretentious art performance just completely blow up in her face and her don't get an Oscar when it all said and done. That's the only slightly entertaining point for me. But like I said, I'm looking at the entire list for best actress. There's really no one to root for as far as like merit goes. I just wasn't impressed by any one of them. But Eddie, we are talking about your football team here. So how do you feel about the fact that this woman wants you to quite literally become the San Francisco football team?
We're not going to be called the San Francisco football team. I actually jotted down 1 or 2 things that we could be called. We could, to help this lady with the cultural diversity that we have around here, because 49ers is a pretty broad term. It turns out people of all races decided to come to San Francisco to look for gold. It wasn't just whites, and it wasn't just the rich whatever the hells that were around. No, everyone decided to try to get rich in California back in the 1849s. Back when this stuff was going on. So here's a couple of things that might actually help with the culture now that we have going on. I was thinking about the San Francisco Chinaman, so that we can bring diversity together and everything, and possibly so that we can bring it to modern times. The San Francisco fentanyl freaks. That would be a great idea to just keep that going. I was also wondering whether or not this woman now. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. I probably will before the Oscars, just to give an idea of it or whatever.
It is 3.5 hours long, so pack a lunch.
It is a Martin Scorsese movie, so I can at least I could probably be bedazzled by the zooming in and zooming out of the camera. He'll find a way to make me feel good. But I wonder if this woman, if she's really going to. First off, she's not the first Native American to accept the Academy Award. I believe that Marlon Brando accepted the Academy Award on behalf of all Native Americans when he won the Academy Award for Apocalypse Now. So this woman's not even breaking real history.
The Godfather. It's for the Godfather.
The Godfather. Yeah. I apologize. Even that's another thing. Is she going to now apologize to all of the 1940s and 50s Italians that worked as Indians back then, as Native Americans? Because F Troop is filled with Italians and dark-skinned people that weren't Indians, but held a really good tie with how the Native American population was shown. They weren't shown as idiots. They weren't shown as dummies. They were all shown as native, noble. Not my term for them, but I won't say it. But I'm just saying, does she want to go back to those days where we bring those noble times back? So
what is it? Iron Eyes Cody.
Iron Eyes Cody. See, yeah, and also I watched the movie Maverick the other day, and that is a couple of Indians. I can't remember him, but he's an actual Native American. The guy who played, and he was also.
Oh, you're thinking of yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Right, Rob knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, but
West Studi.
Yeah.
I think it's West Studi. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was there's some real Native Americans that she now has to account for. I guess she completely didn't. I guess she didn't watch those movies. They don't play those in the reservation theaters.
Listen, there is a rich history of white actors playing Native Americans, but so what? That's what it is. It's acting. You know what I mean? I make fun of Burt Lancaster's like Valdez is Coming, where he plays a Mexican sheriff, and then the other one, I think it's Apache, where he literally plays a brown-faced Indian. And it is funny to look back on, but I have no problem with it because it's make-believe. Who cares? Why are you getting offended?
And it's a memorable character that you remember. So after watching obviously a mundane, or at least not a movie you'd really want to go. And also, I'd like to point out that this woman, I'm not going to say she's a racist, but notice that she doesn't bring up the fact that the Oakland Raiders are not called who they are. But then again, I guess that's because Oakland actually does have Raiders.
Quite literally, they have lots of Raiders there. Or Chad, I know you're not the sports ball fan, but what's kind of your take on this whole push of we need to get rid of all the Native American mascots or anything that's remotely related to Native American mascots because it's bad and offensive?
Well, if I may take a page out of Vivek Ramaswamy's book, shut the fuck up, woman. Because honestly, you are just looking for reasons to be outraged. Believe it or not, the Washington, what are they called? The Commanders or whatever?
Commanders, yeah.
The fucking Native Americans in Washington State are suing the NFL to try to get the name Redskins put back. So that just
they should be suing. Just real quick, they should be suing Nike because Nike's the one that forced this whole thing in the first place. Nike said if you don't change the name, we're not selling your jerseys anymore, and that's what forced the whole chain. So that should be pushed over to them.
They really should probably sue them too. But the thing is, it's like, look, has there been freaking native or negative Native American tropes done? Sure, but we fucking moved on from that. If you're gonna get pissed off over the dumbest fucking shit, then that is honestly sounds like a you problem. Not a me problem, not a them problem, a you problem. And honestly, what the frick is the big problem with the 49ers? Barely anybody fucking knows the historical reference anymore because fucking education has failed.
Yes.
If you really want to freaking no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say a 4-letter word, but not, or 4-letter word that ends with S, starts with F. The San Francisco.
Hey, I already pitched the San Francisco flags. Like why not just?
Just without the L.
The San Francisco Rainbows.
Yeah, but the thing is, she's just using this to basically give herself a platform to basically make this. And also, by the way, Lily Gladstone, if you're watching, there, shut up and frickin' be offended about that, because honestly, I don't give a shit. I have friends who are Native American, and they look at all this shit, and they're like, this is the dumbest shit ever. Grow a spine. All those people in Hollywood who are of Native American descent, honestly, they're just using that to basically get freaking cheer points because they just want to cry and bitch when actual Native Americans who are not a part of Hollywood are actually saying, shut the fuck up. We're getting free publicity and you're fucking ruining it.
Yep.
There you go. A couple points here.
They're still called the Washington Commies to me.
I still call them the Washington Engines, but that's a whole nother conversation. First of all, hey Rick, don't say anything yet. We're not ready for you. And second of all, CJ, you being down there in Atlanta, you know all about the Atlanta Braves, and this is the tomahawk chop that they spent so many years trying to get rid of. They're still trying to actively get rid of this and get them to change their name. It's not going to happen. So.
I got you.
I can really hear Gladstone coping and seething right now.
I'm getting playoff flashbacks from 1996.
Yeah, so sorry, Lily. People actually like the tomahawk chop there. So
I do.
And
It's a wrestling staple. I can't get rid of it. It's one of the greatest things ever.
There are children there, so they handle the drink very well, actually.
yeah. I mean, but be fair. I mean, you're talking about Georgia here. There's some seasoned drinkers out there. They know how to handle their liquor just a little bit better than others. So.
If they're seasoned, they'll be able to handle themselves.
You know what? That's a little bit more offensive. I think that's a little bit more offensive than the tomahawk chop, to be quite honest.
The San Francisco Down syndromes.
What did I wander into? What did I want?
I have to say, like,
racist stream you'll ever be on.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Rob. I think this was like a PR thing, but for what it's worth, like, I moved down here from the north 15 years ago, and when I came down here, I was really surprised about Stone Mountain because it's got like the picture of General Lee and everything, and I grew up with like, the North was right. We kicked your butt, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm sorry, is that not the correct thing?
What?
Is that not the correct thing? The North wasn't right and correct and 100% morally in the...
You're like
South shall rise again, Rob.
She was glaring at every Southerner she saw coming in. Like, ew.
Did you not watch that documentary Gone with the Wind? They actually enjoyed slavery.
I'm still literally like, oh yeah, the South is racist. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
burn down Atlanta.
Well, like, so that's kind of like the first part of the story. The second part is that Lincoln wanted a lot of forgiveness for the South and talking about welcoming them back as like as friends instead of being conquered territory. This is pretty unusual for the time, and it wasn't until Rutherford B. Hayes actually took office that the North and the South were able to work together again because of all the progress that Lincoln's death kind of derailed. So the thing with it is that a lot of people have forgotten, like I said, the second part, like the aftermath of the Reconstruction era, and that eventually the Confederate soldiers were adopted into the United States Army. If you talk with a lot of the people who have relatives that fought for the Confederacy down here, they're very proud because they consider they're very proud because they consider themselves part of the United States military history, and yes, for all their wrongs and the moral misjudgments and the troubles and the awful things that happened and everything,
But
everything.
they did have great uniforms though. You can't deny that. You can say a lot of things about the history, but you can't deny those uniforms are pretty kicking. Apparently, Eddie here brought us a promo here about the city of San Francisco, so you can blame him.
Exactly what San Francisco is like.
Oh boy, here we go.
Dave, the Redneck Schultz, as the fans call you, you see something like this happen, it's got to be upsetting to you.
It don't upset me at all, baby. Let me tell you, I think it's great. You know what I mean? If you're going to go on the hunt, you got to be able to run with the big boys. If he can't run with the big boys, he should get out. He shouldn't come out here. Last time I was in San Francisco, I went downtown looking for a woman. You know what I mean? I wanted a woman. I couldn't find a woman. I found a lot of men that look like women. Now you, Hulk Hogan, you belong in San Francisco. What's wrong with you, Gene? I'm telling you like it is, baby. You belong in San Francisco. That's your kind of place. That's your kind of people, because you've never had a woman, baby. And now I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you right now.
He has
He'll get his ass kicked afterward.
That's what wrestling used to be. By the way, I just got a quick little sidebar here. There's been 3 times we just played that promo. That's what wrestling used to be in the 1980s. 3 times this week, wrestling fans online have absolutely complained about things that have been posted by other wrestlers that have been deemed too offensive. The Rock made a little thing on Twitter calling Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes his boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that. And everyone's all like, "Oh, homophobic jokes in 2024 is this what we're really doing?" Then Vince Russo made a joke about Tony Khan jumping off of a bridge, and everyone's like, "Oh, suicide jokes. This is what we're doing in 2024." And then Paul Heyman made some reference to the whole Israel-Palestine thing. Shocker, Paul Heyman, a Jew, makes a reference to Israel. And everyone's like, "Oh, Paul Heyman's a terrible person. I can't believe it." When did wrestling fans get this effing soft? It's like, what happened to us? Like,
yes. When they all become Lily, whatever the hell her name is.
You allowed all your brains.
Paul Heyman is a terrible person, but it's not
Paul
because
Heyman
of this.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Boiling frog thing.
Yes.
Real quick, just putting in my sense. First, I want Lily Gladstone to win. I think she deserves to win. Second, I think again, it's in. I hate to say it's context. When they do the tomahawk chop, I don't think they're doing it to ridicule Native Americans. I think they're doing it to.
I'm doing it
the
to
positive. No, oh well, no, you would. You would.
He just got his black privilege.
But I think the fans are doing it to draw on the positive aspects of Native American culture, the warrior spirit, the willingness to keep fighting on against great odds. I mean, that's what their Native Americans have a positive reputation of being warriors. Not so. I don't think it's being done to be insulting. I don't understand the thing about the 49ers though, unless she really doesn't like oh my darling Clementine, because he was a minor 49er. It just seems strange, but I don't know if she's like a big football fan or even aware of this. But
That's part of the reason why I think this is like a PR thing.
It could be, although she has the thin lead to win. I mean, it's very close between her and Emma Stone. I will say, I've mentioned this before. I expect not just the Braves, but also the Rangers and the Padres to also face opposition to change their names for a myriad of reasons. But this is really much ado about nothing. I don't know why she's picking on the 49ers again. And as for the tomahawk chop, which they also do, I believe, at Chiefs games, again, I don't think it's meant to be insulting. If it were meant to be insulting, then that would be an issue. I don't think so. Just like when people dressed up in sarapes and sombreros when I went to the Royals game on May 5th, and I was the only Mexican in the entire stadium, I was not offended. I was puzzled, and I thought they looked stupid, but I didn't think that it was done to deliberately insult me or insult my heritage. So long as it, again, so long as I didn't.
Cracker Jacks at these games too. They want to talk about insulting things.
Well, isn't Cinco de Mayo an American holiday?
It pretty much is.
Okay,
most
so
Mexicans, because Mexicans don't care. Mexicans don't care, but it's
everyone's drinking Corona on the 5th. No one gives a crap.
It's the first time. It's the first time white people get to actually have a drink of tequila. You know, it's a good time.
So yes, it wasn't. Again, it wasn't being done to insult me or my heritage. It was.
I can wrap this up even perfectly in this. Lily Gladstone.
Would you please shut the hell up?
I think we'll just leave it at that.
You should just have a meme stream. That's all you play.
Exactly. Just play all the memes that are on here.
I hope you win, Lily. I hope you win.
I hope you do, but it's not because I actually like you.
If you do win, you have an obligation to shout out Marlon Brando.
I don't think she's very familiar with the people who are doing it either. That's kind of what I was trying to say with my experience of realizing, oh, hey, this isn't actually being misinformation or dishonorable. It's just it's more of a local or regional type of pride.
Also, actors are trying to not talk about Israel Palestine right now. Like they're just like, I'll talk about anything else. I do not want to comment on that.
Well, they can't talk about it if they're pro Palestine. That's what they know they can't talk about. You're gonna end up like that chick from some Scream that's now been.
they don't want to spark any more fires.
Mhm.
That's all they want. And
They
just for the
just did
record,
it.
I did put down Stone Mountain on my to-do list if and when I go to Atlanta, right after the Carter Presidential Library.
I like to
My
point out.
mom loves his library, so
Yeah, well,
They're
we'll
all-
see. Nixon's the best one so far.
They're doing they're doing all of this thing with the cancel culture and everything on the voice actresses too. So here we go, fanthepulse.com scoop over Packer Girl or whatever her name is. That they're doing
Shots
it to
fired.
Bang bang. Christina
she's got a
Cox,
pretty
who
protective
was
armor. set.
I know. Christina Cox from who is the voice of Sailor Mars and Marvelous Ladybug. She has a couple voices in there.
That's
She's
Christina
also getting
Vee.
Christina Villa, sorry. She's also getting backlash from her support of whatever. She's trying to back away from some things that she said over the whole Palestine-Israel conflict. So yeah, it's affecting everybody now.
And like I said, we just talked about a second ago. Now Paul Heyman has been dragged out. Now everyone's all like, "Oh, Paul Heyman, he's the worst person in the entire world." I was like, "Oh, really? This is why he's now the worst person in the entire world?" You just bypass every other story about Paul Heyman over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
this is where we're drawing the line. Like, dude went like 10 years without paying anyone a dime, and all of a sudden now he's.
I've never been able to live this out this me before, but just like Paul Heyman, huh?
Exactly.
I will say real quick, I've been rewatching old WWF pay-per-views, and holy shit, it used to be. I've actually been enjoying myself watching them. Whether it's like tables, ladders, and chairs matches, or like this fatal 4-way between Eddie Guerrero, X-Pac. Oh crap! I'm gonna Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho the other last night. Just awesome matches, and it's like. I'll watch WrestleMania this year just for the hell of it, but the Royal Rumble was just abysmal.
It was bad. And apparently the last pay-per-view they just had, that Elimination Chamber, was more of the same. It's like Triple H apparently has found this formula of, I'm going to do 4 matches in 4 hours. At this time, I'm going to do it like 5 in the morning. This is going to get over, Brother Jack, dude. It's like,
That's
okay,
what the
whatever.
Smarks want. They want longer matches. That's what they complain about.
Yeah.
Matches.
And while all the casuals like on the verge of like suicide, like sitting there watching one of these shows. But we do have to move on to our next topic here, and we're going to break this topic down into the 2 sections here, because we're really going to be talking about here the absolute downfall of Hollywood. And if this whole thing is going the direction that it looks like it's going right now, we're possibly talking about literally the death of Hollywood within 5 to 10 years. So let's talk about this part of it first. This was the story that we broke on Bounding in the Comics, because I am the king. But let's talk about this one here, because this is Warner Brothers, a part of the story. Then I'm going to flip this over with the Paramount, because they're both pretty much linked here. But Warner Brothers announced that they made big deals with it was Tom Cruise. I had Chris in my name because you said Benoit and you screwed me up. But no, Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, and a bunch of other people have signed exclusive first look deals with Warner Brothers. They're bringing in a whole bunch of big names. And the whole point of doing this is that, David Zaslav came in to essentially cut all the debt. They cut as much debt as he possibly could. So it's like, why are they spending all this money now? Why are we putting all this money into James Gunn's DCEU, whatever you want to call it? It's because apparently in a couple of months, they will have pretty much the green light to sell this company to somebody else. So what it's looking like is that David Zaslav, when he came over from Discovery, was in charge of cutting out all of the fat that he possibly could in order to essentially buff up this turd of a project here that we've been talking about since like 25 plus years. I mean, this is a property that's been tossed around ever since Ted Turner had ownership in this company. And this has gone from one company to another AOL, AT&T. Now we have Discovery. Now we're possibly talking about somebody shooting us off with somebody else. They're trying to sell the company because, look, they're $45 billion in debt. Even with everything that he's cut out, that Wile E. Coyote movie, that Batgirl film, everything that's been cut over the last several years, they still $45 billion in debt. They're still bleeding money. They're not really turning a profit. They don't really have any positive prospects in the future right now. So they're saying, hey, look, let's get out while the getting is good and sell this thing off. apparently they were trying to push for a merger with Warner Brothers and Paramount so they can put both of their dying companies into one brand. The problem is that it doesn't look like that's actually going to happen because now merger talks have stalled out between the two because as it turns out, Paramount doesn't have the money to actually put into this merger to begin with. As we know, Warner Brothers certainly doesn't have the money. So now both of these organizations are putting themselves in a position to be sold. But the question is, who out there is possibly going to buy either one of these two? I mean, you're talking about what Fox bought. I mean, Disney bought Fox for like $70 billion. You would have to think that they were probably looking something around that line for maybe one company, even both companies. Who has that money right now? Like, so we mentioned the cash on hand with Apple, but are they really going to go all in on a dying project that's been flipped from one owner to another over the course of the last 25 years? That's something they want to do. Amazon, maybe. Could they possibly do that? Maybe. Could Elon Musk create some kind of company and buy off one of these things? Possibly, but I mean, we're talking about long shots here. We're talking about absolute long shots. We're talking, what was it, like Disney losing billions of dollars ever since the FTX collapse. They're losing money right now. Like I said, Warner Brothers is short on cash. Paramount short on cash. This feels like, and I mentioned this last week on the 01 show. This feels like we're on the cusp with like a Freddie Mac situation in entertainment. All these companies are broke. They're desperately trying to raise revenue as much as they possibly can right now. All they could think of is like, well, let's just create another streaming service and get revenue there. It's not working. Disney Plus has like 125 million subscribers on their platform. That's like $25 billion in revenue a year, and they're still bleeding money. Like, they're still not profitable with all that. So you can't buy your way out of this. And I think they've been passing the buck for so many years here, and it's finally caught up to them. And not only is this a problem for them, but there's a bigger problem around the horizon. We'll talk about that here in part 2, but I want to shoot this one over to you guys, kind of a part 1 of the discussion, and I'll start here with Rob here. Do you think that Hollywood's on the verge of a financial collapse? Because it seems like there's nobody in the major studios right now that has any money whatsoever, and it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, when HBO Max premiered, I want to say 2021. It was during the pandemic. I remember that. It was incredible. Their library of old movies and movies I had not seen or hadn't heard of in forever was immense, was immaculate. Every month they were adding great movies, great content. And they hadn't really pivoted to, like, I don't know what you want to call it, the ideological bent of the moment. If you want to call that woke, you can call that woke, but certainly like with The Last of Us and shit like that, it's just been like, okay, you guys are definitely going in a different direction. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because Warner Brothers is my all-time favorite studio. The work they've done, the movies they've made, the icons they've raised up and made, memorable parts of my childhood and my movie watching experience has been incalculable. And the writing's on the wall. They're gonna probably eat shit here in the next couple years, if it's not before then. So they'll probably get sold off, but it as the numbers keep diminishing. When I was a kid, it was 7 companies owning 93% of the media in this country. It's about to be 4. So it's getting really bad.
It's not only just a quick correction. It's probably gonna be less than 4. Like I said, you're looking at your big 5 now. Is what Disney, Sony, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Comcast. That's the other one that we were mentioning here. Mm-hmm. 2 of those are actively looking to sell, maybe merge and being sold to somebody else. So those 3 can easily become one very, very quickly. Disney's still having money problems. Sony's a mess. I mean, let's be honest. Sony's no better than any of the other ones. It's like there's no major company right now that's looking good at the moment. I think kind of by default, Comcast has the least amount of problems actively, but that doesn't mean that if some of these other companies fall down, they're going to be in any better shape.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the only way that this is going to be saved long term is is like a bailout of some kind. So unless some uber rich guy wants to literally throw money, sorry, there might be women, but uber rich guy wants to throw money at this to lose it. Basically, this was always a gamble. This is the crazy thing about this, is that like this is not just the movies or whatever, it's TV as well. But the fact that they've had this business running for over 100 years and it was always a gamble, it was never a sure thing. It's kind of amazing, but it's now gotten to the point. We've seen this with the Marvel budgets, a lot of different intellectual, Fast and Furious, whatever, except those have made money. We've seen this. They are choking on their own excess, and now it's ballooned so big they can't even create their way out of it. They can't produce shows, they can't produce movies that people want to see, to the point where it literally isn't, it cannot make enough money to overcome the mistakes they've already made financially. So it's like this balloon payment or this gamble that they keep going back to the table. It's going to crush them. It's going to choke them at some point. So, I don't think anything good is going to come out of this. I think it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And at some point, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to have to get blown up or something.
I mean,
not literally.
No, I just mean like they're going to have to start from scratch, because we're talking about hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. It just
in complete and in labor, and not just labor, but in material and in everything. There is just trillions of. Nobody even wants to glance at it anymore. It's all just oversaturated junk now. Even the old stuff is starting to get poisoned by it.
Keep this in mind just real quick. It's only been 5 years since all of these major studios and corporations decided, hey, let's profit off of our video library, right? We'll make so much money just paying people to watch our old stuff. It's like, oh, all the revenue. And here we are 5 years later, and it's already crashing across the board. It's like, how do you screw up that badly that quickly?
Well, and what else can you do with the rise of technology, though? I don't know if anybody knows here, but I write books, and they're on Amazon. And you can download them anytime and buy them. And I have some in Kindle Unlimited, and those books statistically make me less money than the other ones. I keep them on there for the ratings boost, frankly, because Kindle Unlimited gets higher ratings. So, but with film, if you actually cause a lot of it to get devalued when you can have access to it whenever you want. There's nothing special about it. It's like the hype problem that I've talked about on here before. There's no hype. Nobody cares.
Nope, not all.
Rick, people like Rob that's give me hope. But
Rick, what is your thoughts on kind of the financial state of Hollywood?
Well, I think that no, Hollywood's probably the best it's ever been. I mean, remember, we are the Biden boom. This is the greatest story of all time.
You're still going with that. I forgot.
Totally forgot.
So, no, jokes aside, it's I'm an optimist. I think that Hollywood will crawl out once it realizes that it can't go on this spending spree that it's still paying for. It might just kind of force smaller production companies to come out. People thought that Hollywood was going to die when television came around. It didn't. It had to adapt. Though, curiously enough, Walt Disney was the only mogul to see television as an ally and not the enemy, which is why it thrived, because he used it to promote his product. A lot of the other studios were just so hostile to the idea of television that they did not want to adapt, and eventually a lot of them collapsed, MGM in particular. So maybe it's a time for a reshuffling. But I'm an optimist. I don't think that Hollywood will die. I'm sorry. I know that some of you here would want it to die, a slow, painful, and agonizing death, but it's not. It was just going to have to force its way to pull itself together. All right? Yeah, it is.
We'll see about that. Orange, do you agree with his assessment? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I actually am one of those who actually want Hollywood to die, because that's the only way that they're gonna fucking learn their goddamn lesson. They have continued to push these narratives, these destructive, these amoral values and whatnot, and they have constantly been losing money, and yet, just because you might have a few diamond in the roughs, I mean, I'll admit there are some movies out there that are actually pretty decent, like Top Gun Maverick. I mean, Tom Cruise is basically doing very good movies right now. He's the one person keeping Hollywood afloat. Imagine if something was to fucking happen to Tom Cruise.
I know,
Hollywood
it's an up bar.
Fucked. I mean, yes, I get that there are always going to be the general brain dead movie audiences that are going to go watch movies just because. But honestly, if people really do want a change, they're going to have to sacrifice some of the things they take for granted. Watch the older shit. Watch the stuff that has already been made years ago. If you truly want to freaking hit Hollywood in its coffers, then you're gonna have to freaking actually put up or shut up. Me, I don't buy movies that are out today. If I have to, I'll call my buddy Captain Jack Sparrow. Wink, wink. But
Raider Bay is like I say, Raider Bay just win.
Yeah, there you go. But honestly, this merger, it reeks of desperation. Because I mean, Paramount, yes, they have some good stuff. Warner Brothers, I'm not gonna touch fucking Warner Brothers with a 10-foot pole until they get rid of James Gunn. I'm sorry, I don't support pedophilia.
And then they can't do that because they're using him as a selling point. That's the hole that they're in.
Yeah, and that's that's their biggest problem, because it's like you do realize this guy has a very disgusting habit, right, and a very disgusting lifestyle. And I have heard some people say, "Oh no, he doesn't. Those were jokes." The dude also throws those kind of themed parties. I'm sorry, but if there's two indicators that this man is a sick
he actually
individual,
was friends with people who are convicted pedophiles, like not even like alleged, like literally convicted.
yeah.
So
Not only that as well. So there are three indicators that this man has a very sick and twisted lifestyle. So if you really want to support that kind of behavior, go right ahead. I have lost a little bit of respect for you, and that's all I'll say on that. But going back to Hollywood, they need to make a serious change. And the biggest change that they can make is to get rid of the identity politics.
Well, we're going to show you in the rest of the show that that's not happening. But let me go ahead and go to the second part of this discussion. And Neil brings up a good point. He says, do you think that there'll be a rise of indie films that take over Hollywood? Or what are the answer you have? Well, here's what I know Hollywood is very afraid of right now, and that is AI. If you remember, it was a story earlier this week or last week that Tyler Perry was supposed to do almost a $1 billion expansion of his film studio down here in Atlanta, and he canceled it. And he canceled it because he saw a video of the new Sora AI that can literally create functioning video clips just off of prompts, and they have a assortment here of different types. Let me bring this up here so you guys can see here. This is just an assortment of prompts. People are just typing in like, give me a woman well dressed walking in the streets of like Japan or something like that, and these are the videos that are being created now. And you can see here, like, this isn't the same AI video that we were getting like a year ago. Like, it's starting to get to a point where they're looking very, very real. And if you can do this with AI at the stage it is at now, in about 5 years, you're going to be able, people are going to be quite literally creating movies straight up off of artificial intelligence. And even Tyler Perry said himself that people are going to lose their jobs. He didn't say that like, no, oh, this is something that could happen. No, he's saying people are going to lose their jobs in this industry here. I mean, these are just an example of one of the videos here, but there's several videos this here. Man, these are all artificial intelligence videos. All of this is complete AI, and this is what the capabilities that they're doing right now. So when people start to really like truly master this technology that you're seeing here, like, they're going to be in the point where it's like, why do we even need Hollywood anymore? It's like, why do we can basically like make our own. Somebody on Reddit or on Twitter or social media is literally going to create a feature-length film that's completely AI, and it's going to blow people away. It's like, oh wait, we don't need these entertainers and these actors that we've overpaid millions of dollars here in the last few decades. We can just create our own films. So many animators, so many people behind the scenes, they're going to end up losing work because of AI, because they know that this is coming. They know that it is progressing far faster than they anticipated, and there's really nothing much they can do to stop it at this point. And this is on top of all the other, like I said, they're having monetary troubles right now without AI AI being a major factor. What is this going to look like in 5 years when AI does become a major factor? I mean, this is, like I said, everything that's being put in the pot right now does not look good for the foundation of this entire industry here. So, Rob, do you buy the idea that AI could essentially put Hollywood out of his misery here, or what's kind of your think of where this is right now?
Yeah, I've been a big proponent. I've been a big proponent of film and shooting on film and of analog over digital. Now, there's a reason for that in terms of craft, in terms of making a certain type of movie. This kind of thing is literally what my nightmares are made of. Okay, because Hollywood has really lost the plot in terms of script, crafting characters, crafting things that people want to see. There's no movie stars anymore in the current generation. I talk about Timothée Chalamet all the time. He is so dull and lifeless in almost every single performance he gives, and yet he's supposed to be one of the next up and coming leading actors in Hollywood. If you can do this now, which it kind of just looks like, what a slightly above average CGI maybe, or average CGI or whatever, I don't even want to think what's possible in 5 years. Now, you will still need writers. You will still need people that have a vision. You still need people who can, that audiences can relate to in terms of actors and performances, things like that. But this is just like, Terminator was a part of my childhood, and I mean, I got the message. Like, let's not fuck around with AI. And yet, guess what we're doing? We're fucking around with AI. So, you know what? Like, I'm sure there'll be positives and benefits out of this. Pete, who's on the podcast, talks about, AI isn't the end of the world. And yeah, that's fine. But I literally have seen this movie a million times, and trust me, it doesn't end well. So I'm hoping that's not true, but I'm going to hedge on the side of this is really bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything starts out like kind of with like the excited naivety of optimism. I mean, like Twitter was started with that kind of, that kind of excitement where you could tweet out anything that you wanted, and you could follow people and they could do that. And look at it today. So
let me just address Kate's point here. It's like, look, on a moral level, I don't see the destruction of Hollywood as necessarily a bad thing. I'm looking at the bigger picture here, is that if this does happen in the next 5 or 10 years where Hollywood is completely decimated because AI is taking over the entire industry, you have to understand that means society in general is going to progress to a point where it's not going to be just Hollywood that suffers the wrath of AI taking everyone's job. There's going to be a lot of people out of work in the next 5 to 10 years because their jobs are either going to get taken over by a robot or taken over by artificial intelligence. Like, this is, like I said, I understand everyone's rooting for the downfall of Hollywood. I'm not saying that those people are wrong. I'm just saying that the bigger picture here is that this is going to have a disastrous outlook on everyone. And like I said, as Rob said, how many times have we been warned against this over the last 5 decades? And we're still here. Somehow we still made it here despite all of the warnings.
Well, that line from Terminator 2. It's like, we're not going to make it, are we?
Well, it's more like I'm thinking a line like from Jurassic Park. You were so busy, you were so busy wondering, if you could do it. You didn't ask if you should do it, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm an optimist, but Rob is right in that you do need creatives, you need writers, you need people to craft your films. That's what's been missing for a long time, especially the reliance on intellectual properties and franchises. You didn't need to. You just needed to pretty much have a template, and there you go. You look at the Fast and Furious films. As entertained as I am by them, they're just a template. Same with the Marvel movies, and you also have to just go back to remake well-known films rather than remake old films that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
But there's no creativity. Now they're letting machines create for them. It is a very concerning issue, but hopefully, we can still pull out. I hope it's not too late, but you never know. You never know.
Well, to answer Orange Hat, you just had a question here. You asking, was this AI? Yeah, so it shows here on the very bottom. This is the prompt that they use for this AI system to get this video. It says, a young man in his 20s sitting at a piece of a cloud in the sky reading a book. And this is the 20-second video that this AI technology was able to create just off that prompt alone. So think about this. Vanya Rad here says people just need to use voice AI and deepfakes to do their own film now. We're at the point now where it's like AI, as far as voices go, you can already like mimic people's voices like pretty perfectly with AI. Like we even showed you here on this show how it's very, very easy to do now. The only thing that was missing was the ability to do it with videos, right? So people can quite literally, like I said, 5 to 10 years, you can be like, okay, I mentioned this too last week. It's like, let's pay, I want Scarlett Johansson and Anna de Armas to do a TGI style, comedy sitcom on AI. You can just write out a bunch of prompts and quite literally create that show using AI and AI voices. And this is what people are going to start doing here in the next few years. Like, this is a reality. Yeah, we already have the pieces in play to make this real, essentially. So
There's already been that move. There's already been that move with there was a bedtime story that was told, quote unquote, by Jimmy Stewart, and it didn't sound anything like Jimmy Stewart, but that was creepy. That was absolutely creepy. That
and 9010, this is arguably the best thing to ever happen to Hollywood since the Hollywood fire of 1930, whatever the hell, because this is going to make it so that actual people who actually want to create things that are real meaningful and real to people and audiences and things like that will be able to do it from the basement and be able to bring together not just this, because I don't care about like typing in a person reading a book. That's not the interesting part. That's fine. That's interesting. And that might scare some people with the deep fakes and everything. But what's really interesting is that now you can do complex, hardcore, swooping shots without having to spend a dime. Big giant Acadias of people running down the freeway or whatever the hell without spending a penny. And now you can make someone look like this without spending a single cent. It's fantastic and it's great. And I can't wait when I take this. I've been working on this. CJ, we gotta get together. This is made for writers to create exactly what everybody wants to have and see. And with the population dumbing down to the point where nobody's going to be able to read or write pretty soon, 5 years, 10 years, no one's reading and writing now. So people are going to be able to just type in whatever I come up with my writing ability, my unique abilities of writing things, and I'll come up with something amazing. Dummies will come up with something stupid. This will be great. I love it. It's wonderful. I can't wait. This is what's really going to help. This is what's really going to help movies in the long run. And
I do understand what Jacob's saying about like the benefits of progress, and it's kind of the backlash side of it. So a lot of people are probably going to get less money.
No.
They will.
I had to deal with this a lot during the the writer's strike. When people were, talking about AI taking their jobs and all that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. See, we're writers. We control how the AI is going to react to all of this. We're the ones that's going to figure out all this stuff. Sure, Rob thinks that everything's going to become Skynet, but that's the government's problem, not my problem. My problem is trying to write a great screenplay and adapt it into what AI wants to make it do. That's my
the issue. It doesn't have to be just Skynet. It could be Ready Player One as well. But go ahead, Rob.
Most of the writers working are not talented enough to overcome those limitations.
We're cutting the chaff. What do you call it? Your slate? We're cutting the chaff from the wheat. We're making sure that we're
from the
getting
wheat. Yeah.
There it is. The cream of the crop.
There's going to be a lot of Rick and Morty writers out of work here in the next 5 years. You guys start polishing that resume.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Orange.
Absolutely.
I said this a while back during the whole AI discussion. These people are all in Hollywood are also worried about AI and whatnot. There's an easy way to stop AI. Well, legally stop it from freaking using your image and whatnot. You have to patent yourself, your voice, your image, all of it.
Yes.
And if you don't do that, then AI has free reign. Now, the quality of that should frighten people because that looked absolutely fucking real. I mean,
even if you patent things, it's not going to stop other countries from.
No, it isn't going to stop other countries from doing it. But in the U.S., where Hollywood is basically, or that's where it's based, can actually protect themselves to a degree. Now, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, holy crap, maybe that is the wake-up call that Hollywood needs in order to actually maybe correct course a little bit, because it's like, fine, if you guys are going to push this bullshit agendas in these movies, maybe AI does need to take the ship. Now, I do agree I agree to a point that AI is not a good idea, especially if you allow it to learn without limit. But because yes, there's always going to be the Skynet scenario. But but when it comes to creative thinking and whatnot, like to do creative expression, like movies and whatnot, hey, look at all these writers and shit over the last few years. Look at the content that they have been writing in their movies, the stuff that they have been pushing. People are sick and tired of it. People are saying the writing is a very big issue here. Look at all the stuff that Disney Plus has done. They've been bringing on writers simply because of things like, oh, you're a lesbian? Okay, you're hired. You're black? You're hired. You're this, you're that, you're hired. They're not looking at merit. And if you actually start applying merit to all of these products that you are trying to get people to invest in, then perhaps you might have a good counter against AI. But it turns out that right now AI is running rampant and people are going to be turning to it because they are sick of the human element being so regressive with their agendas and whatnot. So in a way, I'm kind of rooting for the AI, but in a way, I'm actually rooting against the AI as well, because until they actually learn their lesson, then AI, go for it. Freaking make something. I mean, shit, if I could get my hands on that AI, I could basically make a freaking movie out of the Marvel shit that I'm writing currently.
You could quite, like I said, give it another 5 years. You can quite literally make that movie a reality by using the exact same characters and do it. All you got to do is just put in the prompts and work it around. You could probably have that movie created in like a week.
Not only that, but look at now you're worried about the actors. Imagine now that you are the producer. Imagine you now have an entire stable of actors that you can create using different forms of LoRa technology that links in with this AI, and you can create your own actors and have them react to your movies. You don't have to have somebody that's worth $20 million to come in and do it. I don't need that. I can create my own stable of actors that have my own thing. Remember, I wish we would do that.
You could cast like Scarlett Johansson as Batwoman, make it an AI to actually have her sound just like the actual actress.
And what's going to happen is eventually I'm just going to be able. It's going to be like, I think a lot less like Skynet, and it's going to be a bit more like Futurama. We're going to be able to pay. We're going to be able to pay to rent a celebrity, and we'll be able to download their image into a thing, and we'll be able to do. I'm not going to say whatever we want with them because I'm sure there'll be limitations, because that's AI has limitations. You can't do a lot of things that a lot of, let's say, unscrupulous people would like to do with the AI. With
DeviantArt people,
right? People like that, right? But you're not going to be able to do that with this Sora AI until it gets broken down. But you're going to be able to just download a celebrity and be able to put him, whatever, into whatever thing you want, and they'll be able to be there. And it'll be you'll rent it for a cameo, or you'll rent it for a star, or you'll rent it for whatever, and that's it. There's something that the Hollywood companies aren't. That's something that the unions were scared of, that nobody thought could ever happen. Yet the studios were saying that they were going to do it, but they never thought of doing it to begin with.
Well, my big thing here is the democratization of the arts, right? Is these argument that everybody should be able to create art and it's going to be meaningful and great and all this bullshit, right? It's the same fucking thing as the racial representation argument, and it's these people that have been pushing for this all along, and it's like, okay, that's what AI is going to give you. You're literally arguing this is what I was trying to argue at the writer's strike. You're arguing yourself out of a fucking job. You either prove that as an individual you have skill and talent without your fucking union, and you write a ticket for yourself at the table as a talented writer, or you literally join the collective of untalented fucking assholes who have nothing better to do than fucking picket out in the summer in Los Angeles
and work as waitresses to pay their dues and shit.
And this is my most pig-headed elitist argument that you will hear me consistently come back to, and it's listen, back in the day, you worked your entire life to have the opportunity to create your own art. You learn from a master your entire fucking life. And it's like we're getting further and further away from this to the point where it's like, oh, anybody should do this. Do you have any respect for the art form you're working in if you think that anybody should be able to do it? Like it to me, it's like, and so we're now here at this AI thing because people were arguing for less talented people to basically be in charge of these creative outlets. That's why we're here.
Like I said, this is what they're able to do now, even without all these upgrades. Like I said, we know where this is going. This is Linkin Park singing the Pokemon theme song, which I found very interesting.
Power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch you more. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch you more. Our courage will pull us through.
Like I said, it's coming down the pike, people.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was.
And he's been dead for years, so that's what's weird.
He wanted to catch
what, 6 years?
He wanted to catch those Pokemon. He wanted to catch those Pokemon, but in the end, it just didn't matter.
Rachel said sounds like crap.
He tried so hard and got so far.
Fred Astaire's been dead for decades, and he was out there selling vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, you can almost say he was one step closer to the edge, and he was about to break.
Uh-huh.
I don't use the word demonic a lot, but using someone's likeness after they've died basically without their permission and all that stuff. I'm sorry, that's creepy as hell. And the hologram thing that they did at Coachella like a decade ago
with Tupac,
okay, nobody's creeped out by this.
Well, I saw
They did that shit with Michael Jackson's body too.
I saw the hologram effects with Whitney, and they did not look very good. But that I'm sure that was with the blessing of her estate. Same with Michael Jackson. Same with Tupac. Fred Astaire got his widow approved of that. I don't know if they did this for Chester Bennington. But it is very concerning. One thing on Rob's point is that yes, for too long people have been forgetting that in the past you had craftsmen because you were an apprentice. You were apprentice to a master, and you also had patrons who were subsidizing your artwork. And that's what we've lost. We've lost patrons of the arts. Now even the studios back then were patrons in a way, but they were doing it for money and they saw it as a factory. Now, when everyone can create, it does not mean that everyone will create great work.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll be paying for the accreditation and the prestige.
But you will be able to tell. I believe you'll be able to tell the difference between a great work and a subpar work based on the prompts that you're putting in.
No,
not if the audience is a bunch of fucking idiots.
No, and that's what I'm saying is that the integrity of the prompts. Film is no longer going to be this large conglomerate anymore. It's now going back to like small outhouse areas underneath tents. Things like we're going to go back to that with film. And this is what's going to bring that back to those days. and make it so that it's going to be fun to make movies again and no longer a commodity, an industry, an investment, and all these things that the corporations have put on the art of what we've created in film. So now that we have 100 years worth of masters to learn from, yeah, we're going to have people that create real good pieces of prompts, and they're going to have people that write a sentence or two and think that that's a great piece of work. And it's going to be determined whether the audience thinks which is worse or which is better. And that's what we want in art house and in popular and in blockbuster. And we already do all that. So it's going to be the prompt writers. And we know this because you can write a simple prompt and it'll give you a simple image. That Sora thing, it's not advanced enough, but I'm sure in about a year or two, it's going to be advanced enough where putting an entire 3 paragraphs is going to get you something amazing as opposed to a sentence. And there's going to be people out there that are going to think they're creating great art with a sentence. And we know, because we're educated folks in this panel, that it doesn't take a sentence to create a piece of art. It takes more than a paragraph.
Well, this kind of makes me think of American fiction, where the guy was writing, quote, great work, and nobody was reading it until he went to the lowest common denominator, and that became a massive success. So they were, in a sense, parodying the idea that great art will emerge out of the rubble. I don't quite agree. And I would also point out to Kat, I think it was Kat's comment there, Peter Pan is usually played by a female on a stage show. It's not played by a male. It's almost, I think...
What the fuck? Who the fuck asked you? Shut the fuck up! Nobody asked you, you motherfucker! No one fucking asked you, you fucking cocksucker!
Just throwing that out there.
Butterfly is played by a man.
Yes. Mostly Peter Pan is tended to play by a female.
I wanted to put out there that maybe for like movie night, putting into the list the movie Simone with Al Pacino. Absolutely fantastic movie, and exactly what we're talking about in this situation.
Is that Charlize Theron? Is that the woman?
No. It was some model that they picked up. She never did another movie after that.
Oh, okay. I think you're right. Yeah, I think I remember reading that. Yeah.
Why don't we just watch her? The one with Scarlett
beautiful.
Johansson.
Let's not.
It's pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
No.
You mean Simp the movie?
I would that would be it. No, I saw Cuck. That was a bad movie, but no.
Why would you do that to yourself? But let's go ahead and show you.
America ever watched that movie, by the way.
There's a reason. Let's go ahead and show you exactly why Hollywood is in the position that they're all right now. The MCU Thunderbolts movie, there's a rumor going on right now that the creative direction of this could be an absolute dumpster fire, and it's only going to piss off more people. Very ironically that this came out on the same day that Florence Pugh just announced that, hey, we're officially filming this, so it's only going to be a year from now where we're going to have to announce that we're going to have to reshoot the entire movie, because that's in the MCU way now. It's like you shoot the movie, and then 2 months later you realize it sucks, and you reshoot the whole thing all over again. So yeah, that seems to be where we're going here. But so here's kind of the lead up to this, and this is a preview of a film. Of the story that we're working on bounding right now. It'll be up tomorrow, but here's what's going on. Everyone knows who Sentry is. Everyone knows who the character of Sentry is. It's basically the Marvel Superman. That's really what it comes down to. He's a giant guy. They was like, we need our own Superman. We need our own thing that we can use. Let's go use a Sentry character. And I forgot to bring it up to you, because I'm showing you guys pictures that you guys can't even see.
Hyperion, but yeah.
There we go. Now you can actually see what I'm showing you here. But yeah, so it's like we need our own Superman, and here you guys go. So when Marvel announced that they're putting Sentry in the Thunderbolts, people are like, why would a character like Sentry be in the Thunderbolts, which is essentially like a Marvel Suicide Squad film? Like Sentry would absolutely destroy all these people with like no hesitation whatsoever. And then to make people further baffled, they announced that Steven Yeun, who the guy from played Glenn in The Walking Dead, was going to play the character of Sentry. And everyone was like, wait, no, this guy's gonna play, this guy right here is playing Sentry in a movie. What? He quite literally, you're going to need to do like some jam magic to make this work. Everyone was like, okay, what is even going on here? This makes no sense.
Super Saiyan.
Didn't that dude get hit with a baseball bat so hard his fucking eye was starting to pop out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he looked gross as shit.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay.
Yeah,
Now I
let's
remember.
let's have him play Marvel Superman in a movie because he looks the part, like a 5'8" Asian actor.
He's Goku. He's Goku. He's Super Saiyan up and turns into a white Aryan superhero.
He wouldn't even play Yamcha. It'll be believable in DC. But anyway, so what happened was that he was supposed to play this character. He backed out because apparently when the writers and the actor strike happened, it delayed it to a point where he had filming conflicts. He could no longer be in the movie. Now they got one of the guys from Top Gun Maverick to play Sentry. I mean, he's white, so I guess technically he's slightly more qualified to play Sentry, but that's all I'm going to say there. But apparently the creative direction here and what they want to do is that they want Sentry to be a mantle rather than a character, because by being a mantle, they can have female Sentry. This is what's going to be happening here. So the way that they're going to change the origin story here is that Robert Reynolds, who's the guy who plays Sentry in Marvel, he's going to die. He's going to be dead. He's out of the picture. And then somehow his powers are going to be transferred to a group of people. So there's going to be multiple people playing Sentry in this film. And obviously they want this person here. I believe her name is something Gibbs. I know I wrote it down here. I didn't remember. I think Mallory Gibbs is the character here. And yes, she is basically a black superhero, black Sentry, Superman Sentry person, who you want to say. She was supposed to be played by this woman right here, who's another woman who had to black out of the film because of conflicts here. Io,
did you say blackout?
The bear
Blacked out of the film.
blacked out of the film. Quite literally blacked out of the film. Yeah. What's her name? Io Debris
or whatever.
Yeah, you know her name.
From the Bear.
The Bear and Bottoms. Actually, she was in that.
Speaking of Bottoms, we'll get to that here.
What a worse double feature I've ever heard. The Bear and Bottoms.
One's a TV show and one's, but yes.
They both will drive you to suicide. Anyway, so she's supposed to be. She was playing an unnamed character yet to be known, which means that Marvel was keeping it a secret because they didn't want people to get upset. But it was believed that she was going to play the female Sentry in this film. But of course, she also had to back out of this film due to conflicts that the delays caused. So apparently now Marvel's going with this chick. If you guys saw my review on Bounding of Dryway Dolls, she is quite literally the the Indian lesbian chick from that movie. Gwendoline Vasselnaven. She has this very weird German sounding name for some weird. So that's how her name is pronounced. And now she's going to be playing that character here. So like I said, it's being rumored that they're going to turn Sentry into a team of superheroes rather than the one big superhero, and that she's supposed to be the leader of the bunch. I guess she's going to be portrayed as the hero, means they're also going to have to be a villain Sentry as well. And that's where you get all the other characters that are also in the Thunderbolts movie. So like I said, they're just now filming this. They just started filming this film this week. Florence Pugh and a whole bunch of other people, as you can see here in this picture, are in the movie. They're going to have Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent, Taskmaster, who's also been gender swapped as well, Ghost, who's also been gender swapped as well, the Red Guardian from the Black Widow movie, and of course Julia Louis-Dreyfus is also going to be in the film with a couple of others. But this is essentially Marvel's Suicide Squad film. There was also a rumor that perhaps they were going to do like a Rogue One style ending and just kill everyone off, but apparently they backed off of that rumor. So who knows whether the truth is in that whole story here. But you're wondering why Hollywood is having so many issues right now with AI being so scared that robots are going to take their jobs. They're doubling down on just really stupid casting decisions and really stupid creative decisions with the MCU. It's almost as if somehow they just want this thing to die, and it's going to die very, very quickly if they keep this up. Rick, you're the reticent MCU fan here. I wanted to start off with you. What is your thoughts on Marvel? I said butchering their Superman story because we need an Indian woman to be the Superman of our universe. What do you think about the MCU, the state of the MCU?
I remember when Rick used to do cosplay for Century, so this ought to be good.
I thought Thunderbolts was that little British TV show with the puppets. All right, the marionettes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Thunderbirds. See, that's what I thought they were talking about for most.
Thunderbirds are go.
Yes, that's what I thought. I don't know who any of these. I mean, I've heard of them once you told me who they were. I don't know why we need all of this. Look,
Oh, I forgot to mention this. This is important detail, just real quick. The character that I guess the Indian girl's now playing, she also has Bell's palsy and I think cerebral palsy as well. So yeah, she is not only Indian and female, but she also has a disability check mark as well. So she's a triple threat character.
we've already been through this with Echo, that one-legged, deaf, mute, possibly lesbian Native American, which apparently Lily Gladstone has no issue with. Again, you know, I've mentioned this before. This is turning into a Kids in the Hall sketch, where you have, you know, where they're looking for that, you know, one-legged, fat, crippled lesbian supermodel. I mean, what are they doing? I don't think there's enough interest in the MCU to even have all of this. Why are we going to this? They're wasting their money. They should just stick with the basics. That's what made the first Superman so good. They stuck with the basics. They decided the Salkinds, whatever mess they made of future films, they knew in the beginning, just go with the basic. You know, just stick to the main idea that you present. Don't try to be fancy. Don't try anything big. Go with what people already know.
No, they want crippled black Superwoman. That's what they want. They're going to get it, damn it.
Well, no, I don't think black women really are that excited. There have been stories where where the audiences for Madame Web, which was supposed to be geared for females, but majority were men. So who are they trying to get? You're not. You know, I don't think seeing a minority woman with cerebral palsy is going to make people rush to the theater any more than if you would have a man. We had this with Ghostbusters. Again, remember Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters? How people were going to rush to see that? It wouldn't have been funny with a man.
So, you know, like, I know X-Men is not supposed to be this literally, but it's like, you know, it's kind of a version of like Society's Rejects, who have, you know, special powers, and when they come together, they do amazing things. But like Marvel recently, and I want to see Marvel fail. Trust me, I've been out since Age of Ultron, so literally a decade, but or 9 years, whatever. I want to see them fail, but like, it's like they're taking the worst aspects, like the most obvious obstacles that could be in a person's life, and, you know, tokenizing them, making them Indian, black, whatever. It's just like Society's Rejects can be heroes too. And it's like you make them the most unattractive, the most personality free. There's no reason for us to root for them, no reason for us to care. I mean, Rick talking about Superman, it's like Superman worked because it was about like the Greek tragedy of the character, and it's like there are all these books, there's all this literature that you could literally directly go to and say, hey, what is it about these characters that people gravitate to? You know, literally the hero's journey, or The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. It's like it's right there. It's literally written down in a fucking book telling you why we time and again come back to the same characters with the same arcs, and, you know, it's and have those experiences.
Yeah, but then how else are we going to get a superhero black woman in a wheelchair? I mean, how else are we going to get that if we don't go this route? By the way, this is legitimately the cover art for the series here. So this is not like AI art or like a rib. This is what they're actually doing.
You have these examples of strength and nobility and what actually makes up a hero, right? Going back to the 50s, the 60s, all throughout the decades. And now it's all about how we, you know, let's celebrate how weak you are and how, you know, your incapability is actually a strength. It's like hitting your head against the wall repeatedly and expecting a different result. So again, I'm out on this stuff. I'm not going to watch it. You know, I think it's funny they're bringing back Tulsi Gabbard with Julia Dreyfus, but you know what I mean? Like David Harbour, I think I saw in there. I mean,
Tulsi Gabbard,
Sebastian Stan. By the way, I want to say this real quick. I rewatched Destroyer over the weekend, which stars Sebastian Stan and the what's her face, Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Tatiana Maslany,
So she literally gets her face beaten in by Nicole Kidman, which was my favorite part. She gets pistol whipped, but yeah. So watch that sometime if you care. But yeah, it's that was
I
good.
might have the screener for it.
I just might watch it just because of that alone.
But what's Tulsi Gabbard have to do with
You have to
anything?
go to IMDb in order to find
Because
artists' work.
Julia the Dreyfus, her character in Thunderbolts looks exactly like Tulsi Gabbard. That's what he was saying.
He's a gray strand of hair, even.
It has the freaking white stripe. Yeah, kind of like Rogue.
I'm so happy that this is coming out. Hooray, hooray, hooray.
Yeah,
millions and millions of dollars being wasted twice now in order to make a movie that nobody wants to watch.
Well, at a certain point,
mean,
I
the
wonder if
Thunderbolts,
audiences
not even
are.
those characters aren't even the fucking Thunderbolts. I mean, the Thunderbolts that I know from the comics are fucking Punisher, Elektra, freaking Deadpool, Red Hulk. I mean, I do believe the other or Dark Widow as well.
I'd say wasn't Emma Frost one of those, or was that Dark Adventures? I can't remember which one she was a part
Emma Frost was fucking what's the fuck's that club?
But like you have to look at like how
Hellfire
Disney,
Club. Yeah,
you have to look at how like Disney see. You have to look at how Disney and Marvel see it. Like you have to look at it their way. That isn't Punisher and that's John Blumenthal, and that's Halle Berry coming in as Storm, and that's $60 million each person to come in and do a role that they don't remember doing 20 years ago.
Well, not only that, the Thunderbolts were literally named after the character,
right?
Thunderbolt Ross. So unless he's gonna have any freaking role in this, why the fuck
isn't Harrison Ford in it?
Yeah, Harrison Ford, who took over William Hurt.
He died.
Yeah.
William Hurt died.
I mean, because and freaking Harrison Ford's like 2 seconds behind him. So yeah,
seriously,
real good choices there. I mean, as much as I like him in Star Wars, I mean Harrison Ford. He's kind of fucking slipping.
That Indiana Jones movie was so bad.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he broke his fucking ribs.
He broke his wrist because he's 80 years old, trying to be Indiana Jones. Keep in mind, by the time that this Thunderbolts movie comes out, that he's featured heavily in, he's going to be like 84 years old.
Why didn't anyone go to him and say, "I have a bad feeling about this"?
At a certain point,
They
the
did.
audiences,
And he's like, "I'm Han Solo, bitch."
The audiences that this is supposed to appeal to, this being black women and women in wheelchairs or people
Crip crapples.
At a certain point, do they not think that maybe this is pandering and that you know they
Rob, you know the answer to this question. Like, how many times do you have to see this to be like they don't care that this is pandering, that this is their agenda and they're going to do it? Like, for me, if you want to do this, go all in. I want to see her theme song every time she appears on screen. It needs to be Limp Bizkit's Rolling. Like, if you really want to go all in on this, that's what I want to hear every time she appears on screen.
I just want credit, okay? Because I've been calling this I've been calling this tokenism for years. At the point of everyone calling me a racist on Twitter. But it's like, that's what it is. You don't, if you respected the black community or the gay community, you would give them genuinely heroic characters to be inspired by. Instead, it's these thinly veiled, whining victims that don't inspire anything other than complete and utter disgust.
And I just want to say this
I don't understand what heroism is, and then I don't think that they really want people to be actually heroic.
And I just want to make this point too. It's like, what person who's in a wheelchair is looking into comic books and thinking to themselves, you know what? I want a superhero who can't move their legs just like me. That way I can feel better about it. Like, no one's ever said that.
Well, look, in the same way that you had little black girls look at the Little Mermaid and say, finally, at long last, we have a black Disney princess, because that's never happened. Yes, we've never had one ever in all of human history.
Ever.
Yeah, that never existed.
Except for Tatiana.
Well, we now have, and you see,
She's non-canon. She's non-canon.
And the thing about
Tiana's a hard worker. She has a dream.
Yes,
the
thing about Tiana is that she was an original character.
Yeah, everyone talk at once. That's great.
Yeah. Tiana was an original creation. It wasn't borrowed off something else. And you created a very good story with good songs in them. I loved Princess and the Frog. It should have been a bigger hit. But again, you don't need to race swap. You don't need to gender swap. It's laziness. We're talking about creativity. It's not creative to just take a character created one way and shape them into another. What would be the response if, say, Storm were changed into an Indian man, and you had Kumail Nanjiani play that part? Would the people be happy about that? I don't think so. So why are
Some
we
people are
doing
only
this?
happy if they're angry about stuff, though, Rick.
Yeah.
Well,
I
create.
share my
There's a point
screen
where
for a
you
sec.
need to create.
This one right here.
Yeah. This character here is stronger than DC's Superman. He's an original character from Marvel. His name is Blue Marvel.
Yep.
Sentry
they haven't used
is
him
stronger
at
than
all.
Sentry is stronger than Superman. Hyperion is stronger than Superman. They are all saying, I love it when people say Marvel wanted characters that were stronger than Superman, when they literally have fucking 3 characters I can name off the top of my head that are stronger than Superman. Also, this guy happens to be black, so yeah, they already got the diversity right there.
But you
This
can
dude could
create
literally freaking a fraction of his power can blow up the planet.
create your own characters and build up interest that way, instead of just seizing old established characters and say, oh, we're going to just change it. We're going to make Superman black. We're going to make Jimmy Olsen black. We're going to make Storm Asian or Indian or what have you. Just create your own characters, let them build up, and you'll find the audience. The audience will find you if they.
No, that's too much work. We need to start on second base. That's how Hollywood works now. But
Only
this
in
is a
extra
perfect.
innings. Only in extra innings.
This is a perfect representation of what Marvel is right now. This is actually a very funny video. I'll give you a shout out here in a second.
All right, cats out the bag. We all know Marvel's pretty ass right now. What? No way. No, stop it. Don't be a fanboy. You know it's ass. But we have a little bit of momentum. We got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out and X-Men 97. Both blew up with trailers, okay? But before we keep going, all I want to know is who wrote Madam Web? You?
No.
Oh, come on. Don't be modest. No. That's too bad, because all I was going to say is, even though Madam Web didn't do too good at the box office, honestly, it's got really good women representation.
It was me.
I knew it. Get the fuck out of here. You're blacklisted.
You say blacklisted.
That movie had Sydney Sweeney in it. Do you know how many white people that would bring? Like, how did you still miss? Like, ooh. If these niggas want to hear it, you know what I'll do. Anyway, this bitch trying to be like this guy's. Sorry, I just have to make a zip out of him. Buffalo Steam.
I like how Storm was in the corner.
You guys are good. Trust me. Get you flowers for every Marvel movie and TV show that you made. Just give me a second. Okay. Loki's been doing pretty good. Black Widow. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. That one's on me. I wanted a cash grab. I'm telling you, I was just feeling myself. The bitch was dead. I don't know why I did that. It's on me. It was bad bitches in my room. Come on. You know how it gets. Everybody starts feeling themselves every now.
It's real.
Now the Eternals, that one's not on me. That one's not on me. I swear, I put it on my mama that the Eternals was a hit. My mom's gone.
My mama gone.
She's gone. Somebody in this fucking room knocked my mom off. All-star cast: Angelina Jolie, Jon Snow, Robb Stark. We even brought in fucking Harry Styles. Who hold my mom? Just tell me. I'll promise. Who hold my mom? Come on, just tell me. You?
Storm.
Arrest him. Wait, no, no.
I put Storm in jail.
Just chill. It's the last one, I promise. Blade. Now, I ain't gonna lie. After motherfucking Kang almost ruined Loki, I honestly thought we were done with niggas. But you niggas in Blade? What's up, twin? That's what y'all say. What's up, twin? Now, for the rest of the TV shows, we're canceling all those motherfuckers. They're sorry as fuck. Echo, oh my, what the? Moon Knight, supposed to be it. Hulk. Cash grab. Let's meet them. Who made Secret Invasion?
Me.
Get the fuck out. No, don't come this way. Figure it out. All right, and honestly, that's it. Thor: Love and Thunder. You fucking. I already talked to him before me. He didn't make it wrong. Venom's really been doing pretty good. But look, that's it. I think this is the first good steps to making Marvel back to what it was. Meeting is dismissed.
Thank you.
Wait, everybody can leave, but if you had anything to do with X-Men, New Mutants, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, or Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan in it, stay here real quick. You're not fired, I promise. Have a good day, man.
Awesome.
What was wrong with Fantastic Babies?
Pretty good.
What was wrong with Fantastic Babies?
Very funny. Very funny.
All right. Well, we got one more story here. It's our closer. It's Ana de Armas. Her film has been delayed a full year, and the studio swears, Lionsgate swears, this is not reshoots. But this film was supposed to come out in 3 months, and they decided 3 months before its release, you know what? We're going to delay this film a year because we need more action scenes in our John Wick spinoff movie. So, yeah, we'll go ahead. You guys, I guess CJ, because we do have to leave
I gotta head
CJ
out.
there.
Yep. I'll talk to you guys next week, I guess.
That's all you have?
Buy books.
She has some books to sell.
So, what?
You have books to sell.
Yes, buy them.
Well, before you go, I just want to know that I did download this video, and it's already very, very perfect to use right now. So, CJ, goodbye.
I want you to do me a favor. Remove this cracker from my show.
Holy shit.
I'll just keep counting you guys. You guys have a good night.
Good night, CJ. Get some rest.
Yeah.
Like I said, she had to go rustle her kids, so it's like she's the only one with children. We can't knock her too much, you know. What are the rest of us doing in our lives that we don't have to? Anyway, so Ana de Armas here. Yeah, like I said, they're going to delay this thing for a whole full year now. So they decided that all of a sudden they needed more action scenes. They brought in quite literally the director from the first John Wick film. This is not the first time he's done this, by the way, but they had to bring him in to, I guess, choreograph this mess of a film. Everything about this just sounds bad. First of all, I don't know who was asking for a female John Wick spinoff to begin with here, because it sounds like it was an absolute mess. Because everything needs to have a female spinoff. That's Hollywood's direction. This is why they're in this mess, because everything needs to have if there's a franchise started by a male, we have to have a female counterpart. That's just the way that it works now. And here's what we're doing: is Ballerina. This is supposed to be about Ana de Armas playing an assassin trained by the Roma in Russia in Belarus. This is Roma. But no, this is supposed to come out in June the 7th. So like I said, literally 3 months away. Plans have now changed. They have to do a full year for new action scenes. The production will bring in Chad Chashki here to work with the director Lean Wiseman, who apparently is not very good at directing action. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to bring in a new director. But this has been the MO now for Hollywood films for quite some time. We've seen this with Captain America: Brave New World. That's been delayed. They got a year worth of reshoots they have to do over there. Daredevil: Born Again. Literally, they shot half of it, scrapped the whole thing, and now they're doing it all over again. Thunderbolts, who knows? They could be the exact same thing here with Thunderbolts in a couple of months once they figure out that movie's not good. Now, Ian McShane did come out. He tried to defend this, saying that it's not reshoots, it's new shoots. And he says that it's new shooting for Ballerina. It's the spinoff for Ana de Armas, John Wick franchise. They got to protect the franchise. Well, if you have to reshoot action scenes or add action scenes to the movie to protect the franchise, that means you didn't do a good job the first time around. But it says there about a year ago, we looked at it. Chad came in, the guy who directed all the John Wick movies. They wanted to make it better. Keanu is in it. It takes place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. That's what this film's supposed to state here. This is the same guy who also came in to try to save the Birds of Prey movie that came out in 2020. That didn't work out very well. So who knows if this is going to work out very well with this whole topic here. So I don't know. This is the way that Hollywood wants to do business now. It's like you think that at this point someone will be fired. How can you just constantly put in $100 million production, not marketing, but just production, shoot an entire film, somehow realize the film sucks, and then go in and do a complete like 6 months worth of reshoots to fix the movie? This has been the MO now. This is why Warner Brothers, Disney, Sony, Paramount. This is why no one has any money, because they keep throwing it away on absolute garbage. And here we are. So this is continuing again. So Rick, I guess I'll start here with you. What is your thought on Anna de Armas' movie being delayed a full year?
This is the fault of a producer, producers, and screenwriters who do not have anything planned. Rob might back me up on this. This is the same thing that happened with the 1963 Cleopatra. There was no real producer. They eventually forced Joseph L. Mankiewicz, the director, to try to be a producer and the screenwriter. I mean, it almost killed him, literally killed him to make that movie. They, for example, shot the whole entrance, the Cleopatra entrance scene, but then the cinematographer said, no, this is wrong because the lighting is wrong. So we have to wait 6 months. They had already shot footage. They had built the sets in a rush. And then they were forced to sit on them for half a year because they couldn't even get that technical part right. In the same way, if you have to add more scenes to your movie should be locked in. Your movie should have the script ready, and you should have a producer who say, okay, this is how it's going to be. You could say, okay, we're going to add a scene or two, or the reshoots are normal. This, however, to say that you need over a year to add more footage, this is such a bizarre thing to say, in the same way that you have all these other films like the Captain America one. It goes back to the script. You need to have the script ready. You need to have the producers make those decisions to say, okay, we're shooting this, we're shooting that. This is how it's going to be. There's no one in charge here. This is this should be alarming for anyone. But this is now par for the course, and this is why they are losing money, because there's no one in charge. No one is willing to make those decisions. No one is willing to have the script ready. Instead, you think, oh well, we're going to take a minor character who I suppose is somewhat popular. We're going to spin her off. Jacob, you made a good point. We have Furiosa. That's also coming up. Started out as a male lead. Now it's going to be a female lead. We have this with Ballerina. We've seen this with other franchises. I'm sure you guys can come up with more. You need to have the producer. This is why the producer needs to be in charge, and this is why you need to have the script ready. The producer at that point, when he looks at the script, should say, well, we could add an action sequence here, or we could cut this part here. That's what they need. They don't have that. They just try to rush something into production, expecting it to work well. They don't learn. Go back and watch that documentary on Cleopatra. To all of you producers and screenwriters, watch that AMC documentary on Cleopatra and learn from those mistakes. Learn so that you won't repeat them. And it's much more money that you're going to be wasting, and time and effort, tying up actors, tying up production crews, and ultimately maybe not producing something that people would want to see. It's just terrible. It's a waste of money. No one's minding the store. It's a disaster.
And I'm not sure when the Continental came out, but the writing on the wall was there with that show as well, where Chad Stileski, however you say his last name, and Ian McShane were not consulted at all. He said this as much on that or the Ballerina. And so you're right. Are you counting on this just to carry itself because it's related to John Wick? Here's the thing. Keanu Reeves and Chad Stileski had a relationship where they had a vision for each movie that they executed. Now, I kind of think the third one, I'm not going to say it sucks, but it's like, okay, we're kind of reaching now.
I felt the same way you did with the third one. Yeah. I was like, okay, you guys need to wrap this up now.
But they are the reason that people keep coming back to see those movies. And whether it's a TV show that you're spinning off or another movie with its own character, the script has to be there. There has to be some kind of, if it's not the director, then you have to have a producer that knows exactly what he or she is doing there. Yeah, right. It's usually he. But you have that creative vision of what you're trying to kind of bring to life. It doesn't sound like they had a year of reshoots. most film productions take no longer than 3 months. And even if it's more extensive stuff, 6 months. You need a year? What the fuck were you doing? Like that is almost like
which means that
incompetence.
This isn't just we need to add in a few.
Right.
But it's like, this isn't just like, hey, we need to add a few more scenes here. Keep in mind, Ant-Man 3, when that came out, they were doing reshoots for that one, like literally like weeks up until it actually released in movie theaters. So it wasn't like they were like minor reshoots. If you have to delay an entire film a full year, that means that you're talking about reshooting possibly large parts of the entire movie, if not the whole film. I mean, this is exactly what happened with Captain America 4. It was supposed to come out already, and then that one got pushed back a full calendar year because, we need to redo like 3 action sequences. Just tell people you need to reshoot the entire movie, because that's essentially what you're doing. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Eddie, what do you think?
Sadly, I haven't watched any of the John Wick films. I heard they're really good. I haven't gotten. Yeah, I'm a bunch
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
I know I'm in front of a bunch of guys and everything, but I have not watched any of the John Wick. I have heard they're good, though. Yeah, I heard they're good. The sad part is that, like I've been saying through most of the show about the AI and everything, like this is just Hollywood wanting to spend money it doesn't, and that nobody wants to spend money to go see. I don't know anyone. John Wick to me is an indie project. It's a glorified indie project that got a really big backer and a big star behind it, and that's pretty much it. I don't know anything about the Ballerina thing. I don't know if you can create spin-offs off of John Wick. I heard it's a pretty concise story, but this is just a trend that's been going on in Hollywood for years now. And like I said, this is what AI is going to be replacing. Like, we all think it's going to be replacing our actors, and it's going to be replacing all this bulk of money that nobody has anymore to not spend. That's what's going to happen. So, sorry, that's how I think of it.
Orange Hat.
Honestly, they should have stopped making this universe with 4. 4, he died. That's it. Nobody cares about the rest of it. As for any reason why they would need to push the thing back a year, yeah, you're doing a lot of either reshoots, new shoots, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But hell, as Rick said, hey, it could be that they just want to get the lighting right. Who knows? But the thing is, I honestly don't see the point in doing this, because she wasn't even introduced in the universe. You saw a bunch of ballerinas doing some dancing and shit, but where was she? Which one was she? They never pointed that shit out. So it's like, maybe she was the one that was tearing off her fucking toenail or some shit during that scene where Wick was doing the walkthrough. But there's literally no establishment of this character, and now they're just doing a blind spinoff is what it's called, because you're taking a character that wasn't established, expecting people to like them, and say, okay, but John Wick, or this is part of the John Wick universe. Okay, so you're expecting us to like this because it was part of John Wick, but we don't know what this character is about. So what's the draw here?
Other than
She's a Black Widow clone. That's the draw.
It's a Black Widow clone.
Okay,
that's
she's
also
a hot lady that that showed her tits off on Netflix in a freaking Marilyn Monroe movie.
That's right.
So what?
Oscar
You
nominated.
forgot.
Oscar nominated.
And a good performance.
There's some Oscar nominated.
You forgot. You forgot giving JFK a blowjob too. You missed that part.
Oscar nominated blowjob.
So the thing is, the point that I'm making is, if you have to push this back for so freaking long, what harmed this film? What did you do to harm this film in order to create this situation? Because the John Wick movies were very straightforward. Unless Stahelski and Ian McShane and them weren't freaking consulted, like I do believe that was said, why is this movie even being made? If you are not involving Stahelski, Keanu, and them, why are you even making this film? Len Wiseman? What the fuck possessed you guys to go to him?
Well, I think they're trying to milk the product as much as they can without using John Wick. They're trying to write off, try to
Pretty sure
coast
Darren
by
wants to speak with him.
coast by on the John Wick universe or storyline without having to have John Wick. In the same way, what you had a TV show that was supposed to be about
Yeah, the Continental.
yeah, Winston's
Mel
early
Gibson,
years.
I think, was in it.
Yeah.
So of course you're trying to get as much out of it, and so that's what you now have. You have spin-offs, you have connected universes, multiverses, shall we say, for to try to write an established property without having to rely on the character that drew the people in to begin with. But again, it's the script. You need to have the script. You need to have a plan ready. If you don't have that,
you should know what your film looks like before you even shoot the movie, and it seems like no one has any plan where they're going into this. So a couple of notes here, then we'll wrap things up. One, Neo asks the question, do you think that the problem is too much of a focus on universes and spin-off and franchises? This is the corporate Hollywood system. It's like they release something, if it's marginally successful, they already plan to have 6 more movies of that one film thrown out there so that they can make money, and that's their desperate plan, and it never works out the way they think that it actually works out, and they end up throwing crap on the wall. And here's what we're getting here with this Ballerina movie. And then keep in mind, we just saw Ana de Armas in a film last year where she was playing a super spy. That film Ghosted, where her and Chris Evans, Apple spent $200 million on that movie, and it was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. It was one of the worst films of the entire year. So we're already not off to a good start as Ana de Armas as the action star to begin with. And then, God, you're going to have a Cuban out there try to speak in a Russian accent. And it's like, what the hell are we doing here?
No, they're orphans, so there's a reason why it wouldn't, or it may not be Russian. These people are literally plucked off from families and whatnot. That's what the Russo Roma did. I mean, yes, from German and the Russian and whatnot. However, they do, or they're basically kind of like Mandalorians. They adopt.
And keep in mind, this is going to get plucked out of movie theaters. Like I said, now it's in for June 6, 2025. So we're looking at a film that was supposed to come out in 3 months, and now it's going to come out in 15 months. So
Yeah.
Sounds like it
Fuck
was
that. I'm sorry, I'm not interested anymore.
Well, and the strength of that franchise is stunt, good stunt.
Yes.
Performers, choreography, and that oversight that again that the director had of the John Wick movies, to the point where it's like you don't have any of these things, and so why are you expecting it to be successful? And here's the thing, Ana de Armas, like, unless she's magically become very good at doing her own stunts, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to get some, some stunt men, stunt women to stand in for her.
That's the year's worth of reshoots going into it right there. It's all just replacing all the stunt work again.
Perhaps because she had some success, and I don't know if she did many of her stunts in that Bond film.
Yeah.
But because she had success in that does not necessarily equate success to create a spin-off character.
keep in mind, she was in one scene in that entire Bond. Like that scene in the dress that we showed, that was her whole scene in the whole movie. So it wasn't like she was like a character that had a big impact.
I haven't seen that. So.
Yeah, no, that was her only scene in the whole film.
It sounds like she should have just. It sounds like this whole thing should have just been like a Steam $5 game, more than just like an actual movie that you're trying to make out of. It just sounds like something that's some side project that you can make a couple of bucks on. You can have the voice actors come in and say some stuff if you want. You can still do. You can put in Arkham Asylum kind of movements and make it look really cool when you're doing the fight scenes.
Who owns Lionsgate? Do you know? Does anybody know?
Lionsgate is owned by
I think it's one of the few. I know. I think they have a partnership with Paramount. But I believe they're independent of Paramount, though.
They're an independent. Yeah, they're an independent studio. I don't think it's Paramount, but they're an independent studio that's owned by like another conglomeration. But they're an independent film studio.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Paramount. I don't think they're owned by a bigger studio.
I mean, just a quick little note here. It's like Ana de Armas has been in some really bad movies over the last few years too. I mean, we can give kind of a pass to Blonde, because I don't think we were that hard on Blonde when it came out here. But outside of that, I mean, she was in that Bond movie that nobody liked. She was in Deep Water, that Ben Affleck movie that was terrible. The Cuckold movie that was rotten. We was in Rick's favorite film, The Gray Man from 2021. He absolutely loved that movie. Ghosted last year, and now she doesn't even have a film that's coming out. Like Ballerina was supposed to be her next film, and that's been pushed back to 2025 now. So she doesn't have any other properties outside of that at the moment. I think the other film that she was working on is something called Eden, which is about a group of people abandoned from society and civilization in the islands. It's supposed to have her, Vanessa Kirby, Sydney Sweeney, and Jude Law in that film.
What?
But yes.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and hold on. And it's directed by Ron Howard. So
Ron Howard, Blue Lagoon.
So no one. I was gonna be like, okay, so no one's getting naked. Okay.
No, Ron Howard's gonna make
What
sure.
a waste! What a waste to have that cast and not have anyone even.
No, Ron.
Opie's
Opie's gonna make sure that someone's getting naked. That movies.
yeah. Somebody said, how old is she? She should be like my age, like 34, 35.
She's my
right?
age. She's actually my age. Yeah, I'm not obsessed or anything. It's fine.
35. So we're all technically the same age. So there you go.
That's not that bad. I can do 35.
Again, and I'm thinking also, you sign up for this project, I presume because you think it's going to be a good career move and a franchise starter. It's tying you up from other projects. I mean, just ask Dakota Johnson if she thought that signing up for a superhero movie was a good idea. I don't know if she, accepts it now. I mean, what did she
That's
fire?
why
her
what's
whole-
her face Ayo the Debris probably turned down the Thunderbolts movie because she saw the writing on the wall, which was like, okay, fuck this.
Or she
Yeah,
just
well,
wanted
I'm
to
not
go and
jumping
do,
on this.
Fucking pirates.
Like, I'm not jumping on this sinking boat.
Yeah, I'd rather jump on the Black Pearl while it sinks.
In all honesty, if talking about Ana de Armas, like performances, like probably her most memorable performance that I've seen so far is Blade Runner. I don't remember her really standing out in like anything outside of that film. Like,
I was nodding off
seen her
too
in
much in
shit,
that
so.
2049 to really notice.
yeah. Someone said, who has worse luck, Ana de Armas or Dakota Johnson?
Dakota Johnson.
Here's the
Dakota
thing.
Johnson
At least
only did good in 50 Shades.
I was
No,
gonna
not
say,
even that. Not even
at
that.
least
I was
Ana
falling asleep.
At least Ana de Armas has her looks to fall back on. I don't know if Dakota Johnson even has that at this point. So
And Ana de Armas has an Oscar nomination.
And Ana de Armas keeps her mouth shut about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, unlike Dakota Johnson's manager.
I mean, if you really
I don't know,
think
she was
of it,
supposed to
Ana
Gal
de
Gadot.
Armas is more like Rachel Zegler than anything. I mean, they both had one decent performance, and that's it. Everything, all right. Well, with the exception that Ana de Armas doesn't fucking shit talk people and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody can understand what she's saying anyway, so that's usually a positive.
Hello,
too, so.
everybody.
Well, yeah, that's because she's got JFK's dick in her mouth.
It's quite and Ben Affleck. Don't forget Ben Affleck too. Don't forget Ben Affleck too. Well, that's it. We've reached the end of the show, so let's go ahead and wrap things up and send you people off. Let's get this guy out of the way first. So we can end the show. Rick, what do you got coming up?
Well, first, I got slight buyer's remorse for indulging in that Criterion Flash sale to get the Godzilla box set. I don't know what possessed me to do it.
Which Godzilla?
The Godzilla box set from Criterion.
It's like all of them, all the old
Yeah.
Godzilla movies.
Yeah, so I don't know what possessed me.
I thought you were talking like the 2014. It's like, why the hell would you?
Hey, you don't want to mail it to me.
It was a hard. It was a really,
for some
really
reason,
hard...
from weird reason, we kept running into the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. God, no, I don't know why, but we've got that. I've got more reviews coming up. I am looking forward to Dune Part 2. Unlike everyone else here, I actually thought the first one was great. So just that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And I assume.
Oh, look at me! I thought Dune was great.
I assume my paycheck and my income tax return will cover the cost of the Godzilla box set. Damn you, Criterion! Damn you, Criterion! Okay, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, like, as I said on Twitter, I just rewatched the first Dune movie, and it's just as boring as uninteresting as I thought it was 3 years ago. So.
I already responded to that horrible comment.
All right, yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this guy, Eddie Brock. What you got coming up, my friend?
What is up? Let's see. Well, speaking of Lionsgate, over on fandompulse.com, I just released an article showing that Lionsgate is going to do an adaptation or trying to get the adaptation going for Naruto. Apparently, anime fans have been clamoring for a live-action Naruto, and Lionsgate is going to deliver with the director of Shang-Chi. I can't remember his name at the top of my head, but the director of Shang-Chi is listed to be a part of it. And it has the blessing of the creator. So let's see how good this goes. You can check that out at fandopulse.com. Also, there's some other movie, gaming, and pop culture news that you can check out. So check that out. fandopulse.com.
You want to say it again? Just for a third time.
I
am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
Paul,
my favorite part about that clip is the realization. It's like, oh yeah, I may have went a little too far.
That's usually me. Yeah.
Roberto, what do you got coming up, my friend?
I love that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because he just fucking loses it.
Loses his shit.
On that guy. So yeah, I am doing a show tomorrow. It's gonna be episode 6 of You're Not Terribly Important to Me. I don't have that much this week. I'm gonna be doing the SAG Awards kind of reaction and Oscars preview, which I probably should save for next week because it's the week before the Oscars, which needs to hurry up and get the hell over with because I'm done with award season at this point. So I have that to cover. I have maybe Kevin Costner's new trailer for his movie to cover, and then my movie library. So that'll be about noon tomorrow. Just kind of keep watching my Twitter for that. And yep, I'm going to be seeing Dune 2. We'll review it on Friday, and I'll probably talk about it next week on my own podcast. But I'll watch a Dune tomorrow before I head to the theater on Thursday, just to kind of get a refresher on it. I'm very annoyed at the just constant praise, but like everything, I have to see it before I trash it. So just keep an eye out for that.
All right, and then finally, this guy over here, Mr. Orange Hat, what do you got coming up?
Well, I finished off my originals versus remakes today. Finished out with Mortal Kombat 95 versus 2021. You can go and watch that on the playlist of theme streams. Next month is going to be ones versus twos. First chapter versus second chapter in movies. I'm starting with 300 and 300 Rise. Wednesday, or Mara and I from Jade Shadow are going to be doing the ones and twos with the Leprechaun for the month of March. And for singles, we're going to be doing 13th Warrior and 47 Ronin. Other than that, I do Orange Hat Uncensored on Fridays, and Sundays is the weekly recap, and Tuesdays is the theme streams. And other than that, yeah, not much else except for that I'm on here on Tuesday nights with the Barroom. And also, I have a Marvel story that I just released on Twitter. If you want to check that out, it's better than the alternative of actual Marvel. So, yeah.
But that's a low bar these days. I mean, it's not saying much, though.
I will say it is a lot more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, here's what I got working on. Later tonight, I'm probably going to watch the 1991 NBA championship game that's on my VHS. Now, I need a VCR player, but once I figure out that whole thing, I'll probably enjoy what's left of it. Outside of that, what we got coming up here, since I am the king of bounding in the comics, the self-proclaimed ratings king of bounding, I have at least 3 articles that are coming up that should be up tomorrow, or else Spencer is going to get thrown to Gitmo because I have the power to do that now. So, so hurry up. Anyway, outside of that, Wednesday we're going to be doing the 01 stream tomorrow with Spencer Insider, talking about a lot of the stories that are going on this week. I know this thing going on with Brie Larson right now. Maybe she won't come back. It's not like, financially that'll be an issue or anything like that. So we'll talk about that story, the Thunderbolts story. Had a little interesting story with Elias that might be coming out as well too. A man who has been released from WWE has now found Jesus, or actually he's always been with Jesus if you really pay attention to his story. That's all coming up later on this week. Friday, we're going to have myself, Rob, and Rick. We're going to talk about Dune 2. I hope to have a couple other people here talking about that film as well. like I said, I think we're gonna mix it up pretty well Friday night because I know everyone is saying that Dune 2 is the greatest film they've ever seen, and like I said, I'm just not impressed by the first movie, and a couple of us feel the same way. So we should get into very interesting fights on Friday night. There'll be some fisticuffs going for that show. Monday night. This coming Monday is going to be the Bible In show. Last night I did part 2 with Spencer. We did a very good 2-part series. If you haven't checked that out now, go check it out now. Like we really went through really deep doctrine ins and outs from someone who I like to call a fence sitter, just like Rob. Faith goes, and then me being pretty Bible believing Christian. We had a very, very good conversation those last couple of weeks. And then this week I'm hoping to have Shagsworth on. Shagsworth is going to be joining us on Monday night. We're going to do the same thing with him. So very good series going on there. By the way, with that series, I think April is when we're gonna make the switch here. We're gonna move that show to Sunday because I think we'll track better on Sunday, and we're gonna have a separate Bible Lynch channel for all of our biblical content that's going to be up there as well. I just have to upload all of our previous episodes and shorts and everything to that channel. But once that's ready to go, I'll let you guys know. And then also we got to put together this baseball show that's coming up at the end of March as well. So I have more details on that. So I'm working on a whole bunch of other things. I got reviews coming up, obviously, video reviews for Bounding, video reviews from my own site. I have articles for Bounding coming up right now. And then I still got like 3 or 4 shows on this show. And who knows, you may see me on somebody else's show here. I know MSK was somewhere lurking around the whole thing right now. So yeah, we got a lot of places that you'll find me, and you'll find all of these all of these other people. Yeah, that you guys get it. All those other people on the show are also going to be here as well. So go ahead and thank everyone for joining us here tonight. Everyone who stopped by, Neozoic, give a shout out to Cassie who joined us earlier. CJ, go follow CJ, go check out her stuff. She was here earlier tonight. DK, Kate, Terminator, Vanya, Rooftop Korean, Assassin, Tactus, Iron, Dante, Energy, everyone who joined us here tonight. Bonnie Rad, look, thank you very much for joining us here. Hopefully we'll see you guys either tomorrow night, Friday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. I do a whole bunch of other crap on here, so we'll see you guys one of these nights on the show. Good night, goodbye, adios. Now you guys can get the hell out. Bye-bye.
And John Wick died.
It's over. Go home.
Get the hell out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Okay.
Get out! Get out!
You get the hell out!
Never mind who you thought I was. I'm Rick James, bitch.